pretty good. Don't worry about it.
Good morning, good evening, or good night, how the fuck you want to call it. But this is another episode of Kid Houston Podcast. And today, man, I was so excited to finally get this episode going and finally get you here. But I have the one, the only, Mr. Hold on. Let me redo that again. Okay. We have the one, the only, Mr. Troy Dixon in the building from HPD, not Houston Police Department, but Houston Performance Driving.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of podcasts, and I like the tech side of it as well.
Oh yeah, no, I'm still learning about like trying to do edits and do more stuff.
Well, you're a lot further than I am.
And most of the stuff, man, I just pulled the plug and said fuck it. But yeah, like I spend so much money on all this. But like I said, man, thank you for coming by. Like I said earlier, man, the last time I seen you was in the early days. It was like my second cruise with you. The first one I went on was in 2007. I remember I had
It's good times back then.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was showing my kids. I was looking at the video. I was like, look, that's me. You can't really tell, but that's me.
Yeah. Like we were discussing a while ago, how video back then was not as good as it was. And, even the websites we were using didn't have high definition. I mean, you're talking about things like Street Fire back then, like, in the, not to say the infancy of the internet, obviously, but, there was still so much. The evolution of the media and things like that were incredible to watch. Yeah, 2007 and doing those Galveston cruises were so fun. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed getting everybody together and seeing all the different cars and, just seeing that long line in your mirror and, enjoying seeing people having a good time, getting their cars out of the garage, going to Galveston. It's not going to Miami or anything, don't get me wrong. But the island is got its merits, and there's some good places to go out and hang out down there, and got the old Cherry Hill that we used to go to, and then we used to leave from there and like go find a restaurant or something like that.
I remember it was Salsa's.
Yeah, Salsa's was one of them. Brick House was another place we kind of frequented a little bit, but Salsa's was one of the first ones. Yeah, because it had a big reception hall. In it, and it was just you can't go wrong with Tex-Mex and things like that. And it's right on the seawall, and it was one of the few places that had enough parking to get everybody in
because it was connected with the academy.
There was an academy next door, and it was like I said, because the seawall parking is was not easy. Yeah. So to get, those cruises were getting so big. I mean, it was 100 cars, and then it was 300 cars, and then it was 500 cars, and then 600, 700, 800, and then it was just getting so wild where then other people were competing about who could have the biggest Galveston cruise. And, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring, and enjoy doing all that. Yeah. It got harder to coordinate. It got more risky. There was a lot more personalities out there. And, when you get all those people rolling together down 45, because we used to start from Kingwood. Oh, okay. Did you come in at the south side location?
Yeah, right here by the Almeida Mall.
We would meet sometimes we would meet at the AMC.
Yeah, at the AMC.
And then I changed, and then it later on was the Target on 288. So instead of going down 45, that cruise changed to going down 288 to Surfside Beach, and then came up the coast.
Yeah, because that's the one that I first went on. Was the 2007 was when we went to the 288.
Yeah, and that was fun because the at the time, in the early days of the Galveston cruise that we were hosting, and not even ones I was hosting, ones that I was going on, ones I saw on Street Fire, and I can't remember. I don't remember what year YouTube came out, like exactly.
Oh, man, I can't remember
it was
either.
The first uploaded videos on the internet, and I saw these guys from Houston who I knew through HoustonImports.com that you would, because I was a frequent guy on the race section, the street racing section, and enjoyed those guys because I like that section. There were other good. That was a great website anyway. Yeah. And because I'd started out in the imports and then later on got into domestics, but I think at the time I was still rolling in imports. But those those guys were, like I said, were really, really fun to go on, and you got a lot of personalities that would go on that Galveston cruise. And like I said, it changed because at the time when I saw those videos, Galveston or the South Side wasn't as developed. Residents, it had where you could still go from like Nassau Road 1 to the island.
Oh yeah,
and there wasn't a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
like there was a lot of open highway.
Yeah, but now there's so much traffic.
You could kind of have a little good time. And we enjoyed that. I think that gave everybody a little spice in the event. Being up front, you don't see it all, but you would see the videos later on that day, or that came out that people edited later on, because a lot of people were hanging out with cameras, and that was becoming with social media. With that. Everybody, instead of the big camcorders from my day that were like like the jukebox on your side,
I remember those.
They became smaller, smaller.
The old VC, what they call not VCR, the old VHS.
But even the ones that were the beta, if you're being an old cat, like me, they had the beta tapes, and they still weren't for beta tapes. They still weren't small, but the roads were a little bit more fun down there. So it changed because 288 is still had some open roads. So to kind of have the spirit of driving and then looking back on it, it was I don't know if it was a good decision or bad decision, but those were fun roads to just stay straight road, very open, not a lot of traffic, because that's what we wanted to try to. Because it was also trying to be safe as we could, have as much fun as we could.
Oh yeah,
it's a hard balance when you're trying to. Sports cars, those, like I said, those personalities, those people, and especially the group we were at the time, and still are, it was a lot of measuring, each other up, having a good time. But it was good though, because you knew those guys, and you could trust them. If you're gonna hit it, you knew they were gonna be able to pull out of it. They had the right mind to pull out of it if they were getting squirrely or something. But anyway, I saw these videos of these guys that I knew that I idolized through that website, HoustonImports.com at the time.
And that's the oldest site.
Man, these guys were just hammered down, having a good time. And these were edited too, like where they, were the times where they put the call sign, because remember in the forums you had a call sign or a username? I call them call signs. I don't know why I still call them call signs. Like we're jet fighter pilots or something. But there was the usernames.
Yeah.
And so you knew a lot of people by their username. Like, oh, yeah, you're, Chevrolet Camaro 72. And I'm like, yeah, And so it was funny. And so you got to meet people that way. But yeah, so these guys would still have the call signs. They would have the build show, in the script, flash in, so-and-so versus so-and-so, and have good music to it.
Man.
And a lot of the cars were your typical, but then there was also the fun cars that you saw, like, there was this guy that had this, like, turboed out Lexus IS, I think it was, boy laid it down on the big V8s, and it was just so fun to watch. I said, I want to do that. But I was still kind of like in the forums, but as like an event coordinator, didn't have my own deal. At the time, I was probably running with also, before that a little bit, getting into cruises and hosting those things. It was like with Bavarian Speed, which was a BMW group. Mainly M3s, M5s, Mini Coopers, anything M, like the shoe. Called it the clown car or the shoe car.
The shoe car.
Because it had, I think it was, I can't remember, it was like the M, it was like a little hatchback. You remember that M that was a hatchback? Like the ZM or something?
I remember there was that one BMW.
It had the huge snout.
Yeah, it was like a convertible, right?
But then it was a coupe, but it had this gaudy back rounded hatch.
The one that comes to my mind is that one convertible one, the 2-seater convertible with a long front and then the back. Yeah,
that's a Z. That's kind of that same front.
Yeah.
But I can't remember that car and things like that. And then so was a coordinator for them, just doing cruises through the North Forest, because the BMWs more wanted the curve is, the elevation, the curves, the back roads.
Oh, okay.
And so I developed actually saw a map of a cruise that somebody else had done that was very well detailed through the National Forest, the Sam Houston National Forest on the north side. So we called it the North Side Fun Run. Or when I got a hold of it, I called it the North Side Fun Run. And of course, the Galveston was the South Coast Fun Run.
Yeah.
And that was good. Galveston cruise. But yeah, I saw those guys doing those videos. I said, I want to do that. And then kind of graduated from being a coordinator for one, and then I think in like 2002,
God, I was in high school.
Somebody that came on a Northside Fun Run that were like in this group of domestic guys said, "Hey, man, you should go check out HoustonPerformanceDriving.com. It's HPD." And they had stickers on the cars, HPD. And I laughed because I'm thinking Houston Police Department. And he's like, no, you'd like it. You'd like it. You should check it out, Troy. I was like, okay, you did. It was a real nice lady, actually. And checked that out. And it was a forum. Like the good old forums.
Yeah.
The good old message boards had all your sections, and HPD had a great organized forum at the time. And they had Tuesday night dinners. And then every Tuesday, those guys or gals would go meet up at a restaurant somewhere in Houston, And I thought, what a great idea, So they had a Tuesday night dinner section, on the forum. Went and it was Hooters on Westheimer at Gessner, I think, somewhere on the way west side, right inside the Beltway. And
those are by Highway 6, close to Highway 6.
Yeah, had a
famous Highway 6
E46 BMW M3. Was a little just 5 minutes late. They always met at 6:30, and walked to the parking lot. I said, "What a nice just cluster of cars." Everybody was inside, and they were out on the deck, and they were eating and having a good time, and just everybody's talking and just smiles. Had a great vibe. I said, and the first guy that met me at the door was the guy who ran it at the time, and his name was Garrett Oliphant. And he's still a good friend of mine to this day. I love him, miss him. I wish I saw him more than we did. But, life grabs you, and you got to take care of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he knew that because his business was really taking off later on. As we became friends, we traveled. We did Z06 Fest together for 9 years because he was GZ06 on the forums.
Yeah.
That was his. He was well known. He was a great guy. Strikingly handsome young chap. And he was the first guy that met me at the door and shook my hand, brought me to his table with his friends, and gelled with those guys and their wives, their girlfriends, the whole community really. And he was just a good guy. He was very social, loved networking. Really learned a lot from him. And then then that's how I got with HPD. Enjoyed that, and then. Garrett saw I was doing cruises. I asked him, hey, can I run these events through Catalyst, through the forum? And they're like, yeah. He said, go with it, run with it. And so I did. So I was just doing cruises. It was meets, blah, blah, blah. That was a great time. And I was doing a lot of street racing at the time.
Yeah, I think everybody was at that time.
That was, you're right. No, everybody was. No, it's not like we weren't even like the tip of the spear or that stuff. It was a great group of guys. It was a lot of shops that also ran through HPD. So you had a lot of the shop guys getting their hands on the brand new or what they wanted to work on. And, real good groups of just maybe 10, 15, 20 going out. And then that was the Midnight Fun Run. Even had a T-shirt and everything. Said I survived a Midnight Fun Run. Had a full moon in the back, Had the HPD logo on the moon.
Golly, man, those were those early.
Those were the fun days,
early.
Those were days, but those were, again. I do want to make a point in all that, for the younger people, that we were very lucky to get away with it, to risk it, to get the biscuit, and not have any major thing go wrong. Some people got pulled over. Some people got in trouble.
I'll never forget on that 2007 Galveston cruise that lime green Charger that got pulled over, the 4-door.
Who didn't get pulled over on that, man?
I was driving a 99 Ford Contour SVT. I was the only dude with a SVT Contour out there. Yeah.
Hey, because how many Corvettes were in that group? How many Mustangs were in that group?
A lot.
Come on. It's just different colors.
Yeah, no, man, but I like I said, when I messaged you, I started this podcast because I wanted to go out and because I've always been wanting to learn about different communities. Mm-hmm. And one community, other than the we community that's always been here by my side, the car scene has always been here because, not only because my parents, my dad, my grandma, my grandparents, but you actually set up your that 2007 cruise, and that was the first cruise that I had ever did. Okay. And ever since that day, it stuck with me. And I remember that day that it bit me. I met you, We went on the cruise, and from that moment on, I was just like, dang, this dude set up something with all these cars. And like you said, life happens, and, you know, we tend to go a different direction and all this. But
yeah, but you're still in it.
Oh, yeah, but I wanted to make a full circle around and come back.
You're doing a great side of it now. What you're doing now, which I think is a really great thing, is it's just like very nostalgic to talk about those times.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, that's why you're so close to all these guys to this day.
Oh, yeah.
Because you formed a good friendship, and I like to talk about it. You know, it was good times. It was fun times. There was an evolution going on of the cars going from when at that time, or, you know, in the early stages, 500 horsepower was the king. And then next thing you know, it's 6 and 7, and then we're breaking thousands.
I remember when I went to like 175 on my little Civic, my little hatchback. I was like, bro, I'm hitting 175. Wow. And now it's like out the factory, they're like 500, and you're just like, yeah, I can't wait no more.
Yeah, like you said, so it's been a fun ride to watch all that stuff. Enjoyed it. You know, like you said, but I really like the podcasting. You know, things. You know, I got into I didn't get into doing a podcast, obviously, but enjoyed watching them and seeing them later on. I did. Like my dad used to listen to AM radio. Mm-hmm. I hated every minute of it. You know, it was so boring. It's just two guys talking. You know, the subject matters were horrible. Even with sports, it was horrible. But then, like, say, you know, like Joe Rogan, you know, who obviously started most of it, but, you know, I did it well, and, you know, it's kind of the tip there. It was fun to watch because the subject matters are awesome now, and you get to see the people. You get to see actually who they're talking, like, you know, who it is, and you get to see more of the visual of seeing those guys just having a conversation. You feel like you're at the table. Yeah. When you're in the car, I didn't feel a part of it. Yeah. I just disconnected. And so watching podcasts, I really like it, and I would like to see more of them, you know, when I have time, you know. But you have to watch them. Oh, yeah, I have to watch them. Yeah. Now I can't listen to, like, say, Joe Rogan if there's something like a character or a guest that he's got on there that I just, you know from, you know, like, you know, the past, or somebody who I really like, you know. Yeah. Stuff like that. So. Oh yeah, no, I mean, I get you, you know, and I know that was one thing when I had started at the beginning with my brother-in-law, was his audio. And I was like, man, I want to do video, but it was just so expensive to get anything at the time. And then if, you know, eventually I started this, my own, and I was just like, hey, there's only one time, and the time's now. And I pulled the plug, and I fucking bought everything at once. And I'm rolling full steam ahead. And, you know, my wife is usually here behind the camera and the monitor, but right now she's working, so I'm working it. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you know, but like you said, bringing about like a lot of nostalgic thing. That's why I wanted to have this, to bring up, you know, people who I remember. Yeah, you know, HPD had such a long run. It's still running. I mean, it's running. It's different. It's a little bit different. There's changes over the time that, you know, 2000 to 2023. It's 23 years, so it's not the same. You know, I mean, heck, when I was doing that, I was 22 years old. You know, fucking 46. You know, and so it's, you grow up a little bit, or a little bit for me. Yeah, I only grew up a little bit. Still a big kid.
We grew up a little bit, but we kind of mature more.
Man, my maturity is not where it should be. Honestly, you know, if people listen to this really knew this, like, hey, it's Troy from HPD, blah blah blah. I love that guy. You guys, come on. I'm the biggest kid in the room. I am.
No, man, I think everybody is, and that's one thing that keeps everybody going, is always being a kid at heart.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
come on, man. We're grown men who's still playing with cars.
Yeah, trust me. I still like to build Legos. You know, love all that good stuff. But yeah, watching you know, how things were back then, and it's great to talk about the nostalgia of everything. It's good to talk about how things went, and it's good to talk about where things are today.
So, from someone who I would say that you're on the Mount Rushmore of the using car community OGs.
Yeah, I'm probably one of many faces.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you're one of many.
A lot of times.
Yeah, but even though like I said, you're one of many of the OG of Houston car cruise meets. Just a car community people. What is your take on the takeovers?
Oh, they're the stupidest things I've ever seen.
Thank you.
I mean,
so more people can agree
ridiculous.
with me.
It's really that. I mean, gosh. I mean, God, you could do a whole entire podcast on just that alone. How stupid it is.
I can't agree with you more.
It's really odd because so look, think about it this way. So like my generation is like Generation X, right? So like born in '77. Okay, the '60s. The muscle where the guys are at the car hops, our dads and granddads. Okay, my grands and grandads. So the old 60s muscles, the things we still iconic today. That was such a great time, and everything's easy going. Everybody's getting along. I mean, yeah, there's like obviously some street racing. There's got to be some people arguing. I mean, come on, it's just not fun if it's not somebody arguing.
Oh,
right?
come on.
I hope
if y'all haven't seen American Graffiti, that's
right,
kind of
exactly. I was actually going to mention American Graffiti through that. Like it's still a good time, but you've got you do have the competition. You've got who's going to be the fastest and things like that. I think that was a great time, but it was just a lot more clean, a lot more fun, a lot more mature.
Yeah.
Just a lot, just like the way I would have wanted to do, the way I see that culture. I think our culture was just as fun. I think the competition got higher because the cars horsepower got higher through say like the late 90s into the 2000s and things like that, just as we're cars were boosting everything, 15 nitrous bottles to the max, just that. Oh gosh, that was, and I think that was a great time. Social media hadn't really recorded that, yet. Things were still kept in secret because it wasn't out in the open as much as it is now in the information age. So there was still the forums were the best place to still do it because it was a great way to organize it.
Houston Imports was one of the biggest ones I remember.
Oh, it was great.
And I don't know why did they ever take it down?
I think Los took it down. I saw the post. I can't remember word for word. It was time for it to go. I think because it's the same thing that happened to HPD more or less. So what happened to HPD, and I think more, like I said, there's probably some stuff that not anything negative. It was just, I think it was probably expensive to run. Facebook comes out.
Oh, that's
Facebook really took forum technology and made it a beast.
Oh, yeah, because now the Facebook groups.
You could still do video. You could do everything on forums at the time, kind of, and then you had MySpace in there, too, between that.
Oh, yeah.
But MySpace really didn't become a place for car organization. It was just more of this is me. This is MySpace. But the evolution of the social media, when Facebook came out, I think it took a lot of people off forums because the forum responses were like this.
Yeah.
Facebook's like this. I think people wanted that the second. And so the speed of the communication was so much greater. Because you remember when you started a topic on a forum,
it took a while.
I mean, you could have a conversation for a year.
The only thing that actually popped quick was the day after events. The day after cruises.
There was always a surge of traffic.
Yeah.
Now, HPD was great because it had a lot of people on it.
Yeah.
And it was at that genesis of the forums. And we were also boosted by Texas 2K.
Yeah.
So Peter Block, who runs Texas 2K, he didn't have his own forum at the time.
I still remember
he didn't even have his own website, if I remember correctly. But I want to say, I can't remember every way he advertised that. I think there was other ways than HPD, But what we did for him on Houston Performance Driving is we gave him his own section, his own major section. He had his call sign, his username, that was always in the roster at the bottom of the screens, had its own color, so he could be identified. And he would post everything in there. And then that brought people from all over the country into Houston Performance Driving. So it surged that website, or forum. It's not a website. It's not a website. Yeah, it's a forum. So we would get that. And then the street racing was always done through HPD at the time. There wasn't any really that I know of other than HI, not Houston Imports, that was doing it, that I can remember. Forum-wise, there were some other ones that came in. LS1 Tech was a good one.
I remember LS1 Tech.
For the Texas guys. That section in LS1 Tech was huge.
Yeah, because I remember because it was Boosted 2K who was on HI, right? Because he was on there. I think I remember him posting on there, or maybe it was on HPD. But there was a lot of people who got famous. Sorry, I don't know if your eyebrow twitches, but just recently my eyebrow just started twitching. So I don't know why. It just, they're bringing it up. But yeah, no.
Well, yeah. I mean, I met a lot of good people. So at the time, I had a E46 BMW M3.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
Built by a guy named Joel Swanson out of Bavarian Hypersports. Great guy, fantastic guy. Love him to death. I still get to see him to this day. I mean, that's, again, talking about those friendships, you know. I mean, he built that car in like 2004, you know, and it's 2023, and I love the guy every time I see him. And I went to the T-Works meets. I found the T-Works meets through HI.
Y'all did? Oh yeah, the T-Works right here off a few.
I think it was more on the like 1960 Veterans Memorial side.
Oh yeah.
I think there were two locations.
Yeah, because
there was a north and a south location.
Yeah, the south one was right here.
It had a great little parking lot.
Mm-hmm. It was right there by AMC Theater.
Some of the Bavarian speed guys that I was running with knew about it.
I met a lot of people at this one, and that's how I ended up joining another crew.
I never went to the south side. Were the other meets that I liked at the time, that was also in HI, was like the West Side Westheimer meets, like Planet Zero, and cruising up and down Richmond and Westheimer when that was still a thing, you know.
I would never forget. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but I remember. I think it was a Honda. I believe it was a Honda at the time. It was a Honda and something else they were racing, and either maybe I seen it wrong or maybe I did see it right. But I remember they were going to go at it, and I remember the front snapped. Wow. Yeah.
It's never a good time.
Yeah, I just remembered. I remember the dude just got out and called, and then, like nothing. He just like, yep, I did it. And we're just like, what the fuck? And then next you know, you just hear cops, and we all take off.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Those were good roads, and those were good meets, and then you keep going down to there, and there's a lot of great meets today. They're well organized.
The Cons meet back in the day over there by
remember the Cons meet.
The Cons meet.
I love the names from all the old meets too. Like so back in like the middle 2000s on 249, when 249 to Tomball started kind of becoming a great area. A lot of people were living on that side of town. There was the OCC meet, which stand for Old Circuit City. Yeah, you know, I used to love those. And that was the thing that drew me to what meets on HI were the names.
Yeah, because
T-Works. I didn't know what T-Works. Like I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was a tea house. I didn't know those things existed. Existed. And but some guys talked about it. We go over there. You know, it was really cool. A lot of the NSXs and 350Zs at the time, and BMWs, Mercedes, and there were some Porsches, and the Supras, of course, were the king.
They're on that side of town. Over here was the Ford Escorts, the Honda Civics.
Well, there was some of that too running around, but the RX-7s, and there was a lot of tasteful things done. But yeah, there was a mixed match of imports at the time. Even there could have been trashy BMWs, you know.
But man, I think I don't know if this was my last cruise that I went. The second cruise was my last cruise that I went on with y'all. I think we met up. I think on the west side, and we drove through 610 through 45 down to Galveston. And I remember because me and my best friend, we were in our pushing little 175 horsepower little cars, trying to follow everybody in Corvettes and Mustangs and SRTs, and we're like, forget it. That's when I knew. Time for me to come over here.
The west side was just a good side of town to meet on, and Houston's grown so much.
Oh yeah,
so there was easier parking lots to find for those numbers.
Oh yeah, but no, I'm not saying nothing bad about it. I'm just saying it was just funny because you see everybody over there, we're over here hitting like 80, and everybody's going like 40.
Like I said, that group was very competitive. You're gonna throw your hat in the ring at those times with HPD. You need to roll out. It was a great group. That's why, like I said, and there's a lot of good friendships.
Like I said, I'm not going to talk about.
That's why it was so fun.
It's like I said. I tell my kids. There's some people who like in the car scene that I talk to this day, and I'm like, man, if y'all could plug a fucking like a fucking USB thing into my brain and to a computer,
do like a Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah,
just plug into the system.
Yeah, just plug in and go to the car section, and man, you can see everything that I seen.
Yeah, I still like going back and watching old videos.
Man, the only video, like I said, it was that one, and then there's another one that has my little hatchback, and that was that Forum Club Crew, whatever I was hanging out with. It was at HoustonStreets.com.
Yeah, I think I remember Houston Streets.
Yeah, I was rolling with them for a while.
I think, I mean, I had a lot of time invested into HI.
Yeah.
And, like I said, it was good times there. And I can't remember any of the other websites, but I remember too, but like the videos started to emerge from there, and it was just good to go out. And there was like, this is before like GoPros.
Oh, yeah.
This is when we were like, a lot of people were hand holding things.
Yeah. Or cell phones.
Cell phones didn't have cameras back.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
I mean, it was just where it was still high quality digital. Now digital cameras were coming out. Cameras. Now maybe we could take pictures with our cell phones, but I don't know if video was going. I don't.
No, not video. The pictures were, but they weren't the best pictures.
Oh no, it was like trying to like download like 56K modem type stuff. It was horrible.
I wouldn't give up those days.
That was good though, because nowadays the cameras are so good. You know exactly who that is. Back then it was just a fuzz. Just some hair, an image, a silhouette. Like I said,
in that 2007 video, the cruise, you see me, but it's all because of the way the graphic was on the video.
Downloading that at the time with the internet connections weren't as great. I mean, they were coming a long way. I mean, you had like cable and DSL at the time. But not everybody did. You had to live in a certain place for those downloads.
But like I said, like I said, we're always rambling. I mean, like I said, this is one thing about my podcast. I love to ramble. I love to talk.
It's just fun to talk about this stuff.
Oh, yeah. But no, like, again, I know I'm going to be saying this again, but we just can't give enough thanks to like I said, to you and to the other guys on the Mount Rushmore in the car community, because y'all really, like, made us, I guess, I'm the last, not one of the last, but we're, I guess, one of the last generation of car enthusiasts that actually we were crazy, but we were responsible.
Yeah, I mean, like you said too, the takeovers. Kind of going back to that a little bit.
Yeah,
those things are just those are the stupidest things, and has like I think even our ages, the differences.
Yeah,
how old are you?
I'm 36. I'll be 37 this year.
Okay, I'm 46. So I'm just 10 years. 10 years old. Okay, so there's a decade right there, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great trade off for the changes. And so, now you've got the people, maybe not so much 26, but the people that are, I call them Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes haircuts.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
So, you ever look at videos from takeovers?
Yeah.
There's two things. Everybody's wearing freaking stupid black hoodies. It's like the black hoodie is the uniform of a takeover. And it really kind of is, even still like Street Outlaws and things like that. But it's everybody's in black hoodies, and everybody that doesn't have a hoodie's got a Patrick Mahomes haircut. That curly, stringy hair. Just look at it. I'm telling you. Just take time, guys, ladies. Take time. It's a theory I have. It's a theory that I believe I can prove right here, right now on your podcast.
Yeah.
That if you go and look at these videos of the takeovers, as stupid as they are, look at the people. Don't look at the cars. Look at the people that are just surrounding and just egging this on, and having the cameras and then running in when they wreck or practically kill somebody, or do run over somebody. That's probably more the takeovers that I see is somebody actually getting injured.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of the video being on there, not just watching a bunch of yahoos spin around in circles with fireworks at a major intersection, acting like a bunch of savages. It's somebody getting hurt. And because people are continually pushing that envelope of into that realm, which is the stupidest realm to be in, it just gets so unsafe and so out of control. And I'm just like, what the hell are these people thinking?
Yeah,
what is going through their minds? Those people must be nobody I want to hang around with. Nobody I want to take to the strip club and get laid. I'm not going to organize shit for them. That's retarded.
Like I got some younger brothers who are entering into that realm. Because they're all part of that. Because us in the Hispanic community, that haircut is called the tacuache haircut.
Oh, there's actually a name for it.
Yeah, it's a name. It's called the tacuache. Tacuache means...
But is that the Patrick Mahomes haircut, though? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but it's not called that. Like I said, we call it either the tacuache haircut or the cuh haircut. Cuh for cuz.
Okay. Learn something every day.
Yeah, so tacuache is possum in Spanish.
Possum. I got it.
So,
oh my God! Now it's just even better.
Yeah, so
now
you got either the haircut or the tacuache haircut.
I call it the Patrick Mahomes haircut.
But that's a new one. I haven't heard that one.
I'm always just trying to be funny, trying to describe it to people. You know, that way it kind of maybe sticks with them a little bit.
Yeah, like I never heard that term until you mentioned it.
And then, you know, and not to slight on Patrick because he's a wonderful athlete. I don't think he's out there doing freaking circles in an intersection and slipping and sliding. But again, I think that's a little bit evolution of the lack of discipline. Because I mean, like my dad was ex-Green Beret Special Forces. I mean, there was if I was going to sneak out of the house, there was a planned mission step by step, you know, to get out of there. Or I was getting caught. You know, so there was no playing around in the Dixon household very much.
That's one thing I tell my kids. I'm like, if you think you're trying to sneak out, you're trying to do this, I say you better think about a whole different way because I already know about 100. I know about 100 ways of it.
Well, your dad was young once too.
Yeah.
You know, we're not dead.
Yeah.
You know, it just again at different times, I think. But but kids going through everything that they've gotten to death. That's God Almighty. That's another podcast.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the mentality of those kids and young people that are out there doing that, it's beyond me of why that entertaining. Is it to see a wreck? Is it to see a death? I really don't think so. Maybe a wreck. You know, something crashing because crash them derbies. Remember those were real popular back in the. Still are to this day, but again, not living next to it or being in the moment of a crash.
Being in the middle of it.
Yeah, where it's gonna that car's gonna hip out and hit me and send me across the intersection and cripple me for the rest of my life.
Like the one that happened at the what's it called, the 7 kart or go kart. It's over off of 290 or 249 that happened about 2 years ago.
Was that 290 where that guy, I think his last name was Mock, and I hope I got this right because I don't want to say shit and not be right. But I think it was kind of, if you're talking about was it a Camaro?
Yeah,
that was just in it to win it and then slammed into somebody and killed them.
Yeah, it slammed into somebody, but also
it went out a little bit.
He went out and killed two. I think it was 2 brothers or 1 brother.
Okay.
He injured one and killed one.
If it was at the go-kart meet,
the go-kart
on 290.
Yeah.
It was a Camaro. I think we're on the same event. But again, that's serious business, and I mean, you can't be perfect, but I don't want to say anything that's like not right.
Well, no, like I was just bringing up about that because.
But the situations.
Yeah, like during that, because I remember I posted on Facebook and I posted on a couple of pages or social medias, I can't remember, where I was just like, nowadays everybody wants to be the top dog, and it was, I can't remember what I put word for word, but it was just basically saying like this whole new generation is is giving everybody like the true car enthusiasm, whatever, how you ever say it. No, you're good. No. Every car hobbyist, every car guy, every person who's actually turned the wrench and did something on their car to make it look beautiful and nice, to show out to everybody and do it right, they're giving us guys a bad name. Because when we're out in the streets, watch out, they're going to do a takeover or whatever. I don't know. I think it's just dumb.
Yeah, even trust me, even our days, we were getting a ton of bad looks.
Oh, yeah.
Cell phones were a thing. So you were getting calls a lot faster, and you were getting police presence. There wasn't a Galveston cruise that went down where there wasn't police presence.
Oh, no, there was always always
Galveston. When we got to Lake Jackson.
Yeah.
You got into Brazoria County. You went by Angleton. We stopped at that, which was the original Buc-ee's on Plantation Road. And Lake Jackson was the first Buc-ee's ever built.
Yeah, it was that little bitty small one.
It wasn't the hugest Buc-ee's, but it was almost like the smallest Buc-ee's ever.
Yeah, I remember.
I think the one in Clute is actually probably the smallest Buc-ee's. The one that was a little further down by Surfside Beach.
Oh, okay.
Just to be technical, but the parking lot was big enough to get the group in at that Plantation Buc-ee's right there in Lake Jackson. And we got there, Lake Jackson, State Police.
Man, I remember.
Whatever.
I remember we had a park along the tollway because it was so many people. Yeah. And then I remember as soon as we crossed the tollway, there was always those 2 Galveston sheriffs waiting. It was either 2 or 1 waiting.
Sometimes there were, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. I think it was Surfside Beach Police.
Yeah.
And it could have been Galveston County because Galveston County ends at San Luis Pass. So I think it was Surfside Police. And yes, there was 9 times out of 10, there was a police officer sitting at that intersection, and we hit over that bridge. And most times he was there actually is a good thing, because he stopped the traffic and let us through and just keep together. And I thought that was a marvelous thing as a coordinator. I was like, thank you, Jesus, because I want to keep everybody together. I don't want anybody getting lost. I want all the cars looking good. I want HPD being repped hardcore.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. It was before. This is, we were the first, influencers. God forbid. But yeah, those were good, like good times, and yeah. But the takeovers are, they're just so dumb, and I don't get it.
I can't either.
And I don't know if. And one thing I was gonna like a offshoot that I was hoping to maybe make with that is, remember drifting? Yeah. Drifting's still a thing, but back in the 2000s, middle 2000s, when Falcon would come into town.
Oh, yeah.
Formula D would come into town. Yeah, they would take over
the Greyhound Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Greyhound Park. Yeah, and they would have a great car show with that too, on top of the drifting.
Yeah.
But I like the fact, Formula D and Falcon would come into NRG, rent out the Astra Hall, have a car show, and they had that deck. Almost like a loading dock, and it was elevated, and then all the cars were down in the concreted area, just having a good old fashioned drift with the professional guys at that time that were actually sponsored by these major tire companies.
Wow, that's
and those
cool.
were fun because the car show was going on. Never missed the bikini contest. I was there I was really there for the car club activity. I had a car club I was running with at the time. HPD, it was Bavarian Speed and HPD, and loved doing all that and showing your car off a little bit. Because I was doing it for the first time back then. I didn't know what I was doing.
No, we didn't know what they were doing back then.
We were just flying by the seat of my pants and enjoying it. Just enjoying it. But yeah, enjoyed the sexuality of the event, and trust me, and there were so many Asian girls at the time, and for your typical white boy from the suburbs, Asian girls are just like some of the most beautiful women on the planet, and so that was always just fun to watch and see all those hot, Asian girls hanging out with the cars and being in little skimpy outfits, and come on,
man. I remember
we're guys, right? We're guys, right?
Huh?
Right? We're guys, right?
Oh, yeah, we're guys.
Good time.
I don't care.
It's like
I know what you're talking about.
It's like looking at cars.
Oh yeah, But no, I never got to do anything like that, because that was to me that was the big leagues,
yeah, that was
the big leagues for us. For us, it was just the car, right here in the streets, stuff small. I think the only, we never actually went on the car show. Well, the little car shows here at the parking lot. But no, I went to an actual. It was
Import Face Off was another good one.
I went to my first one, which was years ago, and that's where I seen that Lexus IS. What is it? The IS 500, the 4-door. The IS.
You have to ask me a question I don't know the answer to when it comes to cars.
It's that one. It's that
man,
famous
I just
one.
drive them, man. I don't know what makes them work.
Yeah, no, but I just remember it was a twin turbo setup on that damn thing, and it was
and it was amazing that you stuff that much air down a Lexus, which you weren't really, to me, was a powerhouse car.
Yeah,
at the time, even it was more of just a luxury sports. It's a semi-sports car, but it wasn't. But like I said, there was a guy that through the Galveston cruises that was just running something crazy turboed out of its mind that was just which you wouldn't think I would have laughed at, to be honest. It was tastefully done exterior wise. It was a beautiful car. It wasn't like it was a turd with a turbo.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful car. It was interesting. I was like, that's one of those Lexuses,
Yeah, no, this one, this dude was from Florida. Cause I will never forget his plates, because I was like, I wonder how he's gonna get home.
Yeah,
because back in the day, people would take their cars. They wanted.
Yeah, a lot of people drove them, to shows and came in from, a lot of different areas of the country. And yeah, I liked Import Face Off. I think Cliff is the name of the guy who runs that. Cliff Wallace, I think is his name.
Oh, okay.
And he kind of is somebody I like the way he runs his shows, and so I try to do some things like that. But we're one-offs or different. It's somebody once told me is Troy, never be trending, or excuse me, don't be never be trendy, be trending. So I always try to do my own stuff with HPD, and there are a lot of people that do some similar things, share a lot of the same DNA, but at those times it was and Need for Speed video games were coming out, and that was so fun because I love video games. I mean, 46. I'll be playing video games till the day they put me in the ground. I mean, I'll be 100 years old playing video games.
Same here. I
have yelling at the kids here now. Come on, I need you to get in there.
I still play video games.
Yeah, I love them, and those were good events, and so I wanted to do my own things, So that was kind of where the evolution of the car meets came to for me, where I wanted to do different things. I wanted to be more social.
Yeah,
I love the driving part, and that Houston Performance driving. And today I still get a lot of shit for you just don't do that much driving stuff anymore, because we used to do so much track events. We used to rent out freaking LMP, Hennessy's Place. They were a sponsor of HPD at the time, so we had just we just had to talk to John and just find out, John Hennessy.
Yeah.
And he had some old timey coordinator guys that we would just call, hey, we need the track for this. We want to do this event. I think we had one was called Midnight 1320, which was street racing style. Before all those street outlaw guys had the people out there doing starting. I kind of did the Fast and the Furious thing where we had a hot chick out there, or we did the tree, because I thought it was also a good way to educate people on how to drag race. And there was that thing, we were walking that edge of street racing track, and you saw the dangers of street racing, and then it's like, man, it's really safer on the track. You still can break something. That's race cars, but I'm not going to die on the track. Or kill someone, or hit some poor pregnant lady that's just on the way home from church in a minivan that didn't see you coming, and change lanes because you were going 200 miles an hour. That was things that were, because as you get older, those are the things that were running through your mind.
Yeah.
And so I started doing more track events to try to educate people. And that's how I was more of a road courser. So then we started doing road coursing events. And those were fun, going down to Texas World Speedway, and then going down to Houston Motorsports Ranch. And that was fun because that was like living a little bit of a dream, where you got some close homies together that were in the road coursing side, a Corvette, BMW M3, trying to think of some of the other cars, a lot of the track cars that were out there. Guys had custom cars and things like that. And Porsches, some AMG type stuff, a lot of Corvettes, and but go down for like 2 or 3 days, and just hang out in Angleton, get hotels, everybody's hanging together, eating together, just enjoying their lives together and doing all that.
I've always loved that, like seeing when like crews all click together, and when they all like. Not to sound like a girl or anything like that, but
no, it's the same for dudes. It's called camaraderie.
Well, yeah, no. I'm just saying, it just like every time I would join a crew, like a club or whatever, and it was always like they would merge to do their own thing, and it was just like
that happened a lot. That happened in HPD all the time.
Yeah, it was just like
we were all one big happy family, and then something happened, some kind of little piece of drama. Somebody got butthurt before being butthurt was a thing. And started their own forum, group, website, and then became competition for you. And we had that in HPD multiple times.
No, not saying like that. Like saying like whenever like say like you said, it's one big family, but then it's always those 3 or 4 that always like that are more hanging out in the group.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people clicked, and then you saw people meet each other for the first time, or the second time, third time, and their friendships gelled, and then you saw cliques within cliques, but everybody was still in the same team. But maybe it was just there were people that liked each other that that ended up hanging out every weekend, and their wives liked the other wife, and then next thing it's like, oh, they're vacationing together, they're going to Mexico, they're going to Cancun, they're in the Coon together, and it's like, shit, man, I just thought they just met the other day.
Yeah, no, I always loved that, but I've always was like that one guy that was like, where's my love? But at the exact same time, I was a kid at the time, and just like whatever.
Yeah, well, y'all young, like you say, we're just flying through it. I was glad about. I mean, my journey is not anything to like really write a book about. It was just real fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, no.
Those times of just doing the events and still doing them to this day, are great. It's less driving. It's more hanging out.
Yeah.
Because we're older, and like I said, I get a lot of shit for that. People are like, come on, man, you need to do some more driving. And I'm like, well, look, I'm only one man, and I'm a little bit of a control freak when it comes to HPD, because a lot of people have tried to come in and say, hey, let me do this for you. And I was like, no, I handle it. I'm good. I got a vision.
It was you, the one that first started doing the walkie-talkies on the cruises, right?
Yeah, I picked that up from somebody else.
I'm trying to remember. That's why.
Yeah, we started doing that because it was just easier to get information down the line.
That was actually pretty cool because, man, you just heard everybody.
Yeah,
you just heard everybody
having a conversation too. So this is like before. Okay, so this is before like group chat on a cell phone.
Yeah.
For the apps, like I think it's Zello. I used that for a little while.
I remember that one.
And that was just a unique, kind of like GameSpeak or TeamSpeak on your. Do you Xbox or are you a PlayStation guy?
I play both, but I don't care.
Okay, I'm kind of an Xbox guy.
I got it. I mean, I ain't got the new stuff, but I mean, I got like the Xbox Series S.
Well, I mean, I guess you got three kinds of people. You got people that gravitate towards Xbox, people that gravitate towards PlayStation, people who don't give a damn. Let's just play some games.
That's me.
I kind of am a tribal guy, kind of talking about those clicks. You know, I was probably knee deep in those situations a lot, or I just gelled with some guys or some people, which became kind of Coffee and Cars, for example, gelling with guys.
Yeah.
And I remember Coffee and Cars back in the day when it was just 50 dudes meeting up at Uptown Park. 50 dudes became 500 dudes. 500 dudes became 5,000 dudes.
Same thing.
Now, of course, those people didn't all know each other, but once that situation just got out and social media could help get that word in, those events could grow at such a fast tempo.
Yeah, like it was with like All Team Bash. I don't know if you know.
Oh yeah, no, All Team Bash. Yeah, I like Chemo.
Yeah, Chemo. I always forget it. I don't know why I thought his name was David. I
see a lot of his stuff on I don't interact with him as but man, I tell you what, his stuff shows up on my Facebook all the time. And I like what he does.
Oh yeah,
and I like his attitude. I've met him more than once. I know we actually met. The last time I actually talked to Chemo was if I'm saying that right. I hope so.
I think so.
God, I've really screwed that up.
If we say your name wrong, we're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry about that. That's my fault 100%. And there was another gentleman, same guy that runs Eat Sleep Car Meet, Andrew Lau. Another good guy that I like what he does. He does everything right. He's got a great artistic side and everything. But the takeovers were just starting.
Oh.
You had those jackasses from California coming over, all the transplants that were bringing their values with them. Don't California my Texas, right? Well, they sure fudging were. And
you could cuss on here. I don't care.
No, it's okay. We need to keep it professional. And and Andrew actually called everybody together. Like he knew who ran what and who had influence. That's kind of a stupid way to say it. And man, we all got together at, I think it was Twin Peaks of all places or something. I remember it was an outdoor patio. And we all brought it out, about how do we stop these things without stepping in front of the car? How do we try to minimize where this is going? And I thought he had great vision. And I said, yeah, I hate this shit. I'm starting to see it. I just think it has what I do. And so he got like all the coordinators together, and we all we just said that we weren't going to condone it. We weren't going to share it on any of our platforms.
I don't share that shit. If there's
something stupid now where I do, I don't think it was like breaking the deal, but like if you see something stupid that I think is just like an example of stupidity, I'll put it like on a takeover, like a small slid bid, like on Houston Performers Driving. Look, don't be these guys. Don't be these guys. You don't want to be these guys.
That's what I tell my young brothers. I'm like, look, I get it. You want to be there, but don't be them. I'm like, that's the last thing you need. Because if you're going to do something and something's going to happen, I said, and look at all these people. They're getting run over. They're getting hit. They're killing people.
You're young. Don't give up your youth doing something stupid. Have fun. Risk it.
Risk it, but
tip that boundaries a little bit. Boundaries are made to be tested. They are. I'm not going to tell you not to.
Oh yeah, but like it was different.
But don't go just swan diving off the cliff straight into no water with spikes at the bottom of that pit. Don't do that. That's what I don't get.
Like okay, it's like what you said. Boundaries are to be pushed to the limit, but man, I mean, like I said, I know we were doing stupid shit like racing on the freeway and all this.
Yeah, it's really stupid. Yeah. It is.
but like I tell people, but at that same time, I know this doesn't make sense, but at least the majority of us, when we were racing, we would use our signal lights.
Yes, I was very adamant about using signals.
I was like,
because you really needed to. Because the speeds are all, you don't know what somebody's got. And, you may need to change lanes for a reason. You could be coming up on a slower car, just again, somebody that's just driving down 610.
Going home.
Trying to get home. And you come by at, warp speed. And that person didn't realize their exit was right there. And they're going to cut in front of you. And so that's why I liked our crew. Because if we were going to risk it and have that kind of level of fun and push that boundary to that edge, I wanted to be out there with some dudes that knew what the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
Now, you did have a crazy person every once in a while, somebody trying to prove something. But, I mean, we all were. Hell, I was probably stupid in some situations. Probably a lot of situations. But, but I remember street racing this guy, and he was in this, like, blown to nuts Camaro. And I was in C6706. And I knew I was going to get my ass whooped, but I wanted just to see what happened. But, he started to spin a little bit. And he got out. He got out of it. And again, there's friends. It's not like we had any money on the line. It's not like we had, wrestling for pinks.
Back in the
day. So guys that had enough sense to be safe, let's do it right, with the radios. I would, a lot of times either I or somebody else would band it. So somebody'd be half a mile ahead on the radio, or even if we didn't even have radios, use your flashers, use your hand signals, write a note and fly it out the window for God's sakes. Communicate. Yeah. And I learned a lot of communication through tracking because there's a lot of hand signals like pointing and because there wasn't radios all the time, and so most use sign language, and
like those people who are doing the fake sign language.
Oh yes, you look like a TikTok video, bro. Come on, you better than that. So we enjoyed, did all that, and got away with it, and push those boundaries. But nobody ever wrecked, thank God. Nobody ever got any injury. If it was a blown motor, or a bad transmission, or a big old fat speeding ticket,
or a scary ass spin out.
I don't remember anybody spinning out. I think everybody was good.
No, not in the cruises in general. I just meant like when you're out with your friends and y'all are just acting like stupid assholes, and someone loses it.
Yeah, well, see that. Okay, so we had more spin outs on the North Side Fun Run because it was all the elevation changes and turns, and some people were just trying to take turns way too fast, and I got a wheel off in the grass, and once you do that, that's like being on ice. It's just going to grab the car and pull you right off. We had a lot of that going on, people just kicking up mud, and we had a car. We was a sharp 90-degree right, and the crotch rockets and the choppers also used that road to enjoy a good cruise. And there was a guy that had a beautiful red 2003 Cobra. Oh, and
I hear the pain in your. I hear the pain.
It was a hard right where I go, man. I hope all these people are ready for this turn. I really do, because I'm thrashing it. And there's a chopper, soul chopper, literally halfway in our lane. At the same time, inside the apex of the turn, and I got through, and I'm thinking, God, I hope but because I was the first one in I knew where I was going. I had no, it's a problem. But anyway, about a guy like 4 cars back was a little, Cobras don't really turn on a dime in that kind of speeding situation. So yeah, he went outside, and the damn bike went inside, but he had to go out, and then huge ditch, like literally 3 foot, 4 foot down ditch. Car goes down the ditch, comes up on the other side of the ditch, and just plants.
Ooh.
Yeah. Saw the whole thing in my side mirror. Something you can't unsee. And I knew the guy is a great guy. And, it was a sad situation. Just for the car. But Andy had his wife in there with him.
Oh,
and
shit.
if I'm not mistaken, to make this situation so much worse, because I think we need to talk about this stuff. I think there was a child in the car, from what I remember.
Golly.
You have to be, and we did have, and it's just, this kind of, again, this is how stupid we were.
Yeah.
Where I remember a couple guys bringing their freaking children on it. They had them in like race seat, child seats that were like just coming out. I guess these seats were bolted to the seat. But again, it's like, man, we're out here kind of messing around. We're not racing, but we're out here doing 100, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160 on back roads. And a lot of these guys were in, Corvettes and things like that. And yeah, we're just cutting it through those back roads.
And then I know because when you mentioned that, there was that one same thing. It was an incident right there off 45 on the Beltway right here, where it was a boyfriend, the girlfriend, or husband and wife. It was a couple, and the child was in the back, and they were racing in a Subaru. It was a few years. It was many years back.
A few years ago, probably.
Many years back.
Yeah, I think I remember.
It was like right here. He went off.
There were wrecks because, like, again, everybody's filming, especially the yahoos that film on like the exits and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I understand it. I don't agree with it. I'm not going to tell them what to do, but just because you can, should you? And so yeah, because it happens at my meets all the time. It happens at Twin Peaks. Yeah. It happens at it doesn't happen so much at Houston Cars and Cocktails, thank God, because that's a little bit more of a risque event, because it is what it is. It is Houston Cars and Cocktails, but I really have to explain that event a lot to people, because on social media, you make cars and cocktails. Come on, that's why I did it, because it's such an oxymoron. But at the same time, you don't condone anything, but nobody's acting foolish, and that's the beauty of it. Never had a wreck. Now, I shouldn't be like never had a wreck, but there hasn't been any wrecks, but we haven't seen anything even close, and we hire police for that. But of course, there's police at Cars and Coffee, but I guess caffeine fucks up people way more than alcohol sometimes. But like I said, you don't see anybody like funneling beers and trying to win a beer drinking or cocktail drinking competition. It's professional people. It's professional blue collars mixed in with your cool white collar, your people that may have their Porsche, may have their Lamborghini, but they're one of the guys. They're not somebody that thinks they're above somebody you want to hang out with. Somebody I want to sit down and get to know. They have a business. I want to learn what that business is. I just like talking to people. I'm having a good time here talking about everything, because it's so good to talk about those things.
Oh yeah, like you said, it's the nostalgic. It's just the memory is just. It's just that the adrenaline.
And we're still on that journey. We're just a little bit older, wiser, I hope. But we're still trying to have fun. At least I am. I'm still trying.
Oh yeah. My car is in the garage.
And,
so.
With the two events. So the two main events we got going on right now that HPD has, that's a lot more safer. Is so the second Sunday of every month we have the Twin Peaks meetup in the Woodlands, which is fantastic. I've been doing that for 9 years. It's so fun. It's got a great parking lot. The deck peninsula is out, elevated into the lot, so you're up high with all those cars out there. You're right next to all the cars, and you're outside. There's TVs at Twin Peaks, for God's sakes. If you're not having a good time at Twin Peaks, you're dead. Or I don't want you sitting at my table.
Now, the first time I went to Twin Peaks was when I was working out there in West Texas a few years ago.
Okay. So the Twin Peaks they built in the Woodlands was one of the first. And when it started off as a Cafe Adobe. So when I got home from college in '99, the Cafe Adobe was a cool place to go. Anyway, it became a Twin Peaks later on in the building's life. Not to give you a history lesson on real estate in the Woodlands. But yeah, so when it came to Twin Peaks, and I didn't know what it really was at first, and I was like, Twin Peaks, what the hell is that? You know, and going, oh, shit. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is great. You know, and I'd go, and there's this filled, and of course, this was 9 years ago, so I can kind of justify I was a little younger at the time. You know, now I'm a dirty old man. And, you know, and those were good. It was a good, fun place to go, and I said, man, this is a great parking lot. Just so happened to be the regional manager was there from like Indianapolis.
Oh, wow.
For the corporate office.
Oh, wow.
And he was up, and they had built this private deck thing with a private bar, and he was up there on his laptop doing some work. And I asked, hey, can I talk to the manager? Well, I said, well, you know, the GM. Like, well, there's the regional managers here. I was like, can I go talk to him? And he's like, yeah. And I talked to this guy and told him what I did and what I wanted to do. And he kind of looked at me strange for a minute. You know, I was like, are you sure you can deliver all that? I don't know. And I was like, I said, look, give me one opportunity. Give me one meet. Been doing it 9 years ever since. So it's been great, and I love the Twin Peaks meet. It's just so fun. And then, you get out there and get all the cars in that parking lot and go inside and chat with everybody, catch up with your friends, catch up with people maybe that you haven't seen in a while, OGs of, you know, you'll still see some HIOGs that you met but maybe they just came over to HPD later on. And, you know, it's guys that shop owners that you know, that you either have worked with or not worked with, your sponsors, people that actually put money into your well to be able to advertise their stuff on your social media. You know, guys that want the VIP spots that are really gracious and fun to be around. And I like those guys because everybody's not necessarily the same, but it's like there is a wide variety. Of different kinds of like car groups and organizers. There's organizers that have a good vision where like they don't give a shit what shows up as long as it's people, and I get that, and I think that's great. I respect it heavily. I'm a little more narrow visioned. You know, I want a little bit more uniformed. Kind of want a large stream, but not everybody. You know, because I don't want the dumbasses. I don't want the Patrick Mahomes haircuts. You know, I don't want the possums running around. You know, screwing up my shit. Oh, yeah. Or our stuff. You know, a great time. You know, because there's always that one guy. I threw a lot of parties in high school. You know, there's always that one guy. A lot of times with somebody I knew. Or was a friend
I'm with that guy.
You know, yeah. It's my fault, everybody. I'm sorry, everybody in the Woodlands from 91 to 95. If you went to McCullough High School, it is all my fault. Enjoy bringing people together. And this happens at every one of our meets where either a business owner or an individual Joe that is looking for something. Troy, I want to build this. I want to make this garage. I need lifts. I need tires. I need wheels. I need tint. I need ceramic coatings. I need detailing. Or vice versa, those people that own those businesses want to expand their business and say, Troy, I like what you do. You seem like an okay guy. You're probably an asshole, but I like what you do. And thank you. And can we be a part of HPD? Can we advertise our products? And we have little sponsorships and stuff like that we do. 6 months annually, that kind of thing. And then the last Sunday of every month is Houston Cars and Cocktails at Little Woodrose and Tomball, and that's a much bigger parking lot. But kind of these concepts with these open top bars that are more outdoorsy and have all these like nice fans and kind of like the way you got your blinders and things like that, but it's fun.
Yeah, no, I've been to Little Woodrose, but the one in West Texas.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of that stuff I did out there in West Texas.
I spent some time out in Lubbock.
No.
I had friends that went to Lubbock went to Texas Tech after high school.
No. I worked out there. I was working
Midland or something?
For the sand mines.
Okay.
Yeah, I was out there in Kermit and Odessa,
Okay.
Kermit,
Yeah.
and
Good high school football teams.
and Midland.
You're always like, God, I hope we don't have to play those guys.
But yeah, that was a crazy time working out there. But no, man. I just remembered I was gonna say. Oh, have you ever met Steven from Speed Advocates?
Yes, I love Steven.
Yeah,
he's another guy that does things very well. Very highly organized. Good character.
Oh yeah, like I said, I had him on.
He's got his thing. You know, he shows up on my Facebook all the time. You know, I try to help. You know, like people say, like, "Hey, Troy, I'm looking for something to do." You know, and it's not on like my day. Like, I think Speed Advocates has got something going on. That's where I'd go. I don't. I'm a little bit of douche. Where, and I feel so horrible about this, and I want to admit this to everybody, is that I feel horrible that I don't go to enough other people's events. Because, you know, you're doing your own stuff. And I think, like, I even listened to Steven's podcast for a while about how many man hours he put into all of it. It's crazy. And that's why it's like you're so invested in the time. And, you know, I'm intense a little bit. Like, you know, I want everybody to have a good time. That's the reason why on Xbox, my call sign is ecstasy for us.
Ecstasy for us?
Yeah. Because I want everybody happy. That's my thing. I want everybody getting laid. I want everybody having a good time. I want everybody with 2 beers in their hand. I want everybody with fat smiles on their face. That's just, I get such a good feeling of bringing people fun times. I don't know. It's just somehow, like, you know, like I said, I've been throwing parties since I was like 16 years old, and I just love putting people together, love networking, talking. I mean, obviously, I've probably taken over your whole podcast. People are like, God, is Troy gonna ever let fucking David say anything?
Nah, man, you're good. Nah, man, you're completely good.
It's such a huge story.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's so much to talk about in so little time. I don't think you could really get it all. You probably get like maybe a little bit of it and get like a little taste of what HPD was. And
yeah, like in the beginning, like that way on the you know, when I do have you back again.
I hope so.
No, I will. Like everybody who I'm having on, man, I'm gonna have y'all all back on.
Yeah, Steven does really good stuff. I really highly recommend his Rudy's Meats.
Yeah,
he's got a meat on the south side, which is it's on Nassau Road 1, I think.
Yeah,
it's like a sports bar. It's really good. There's been other meats there in the past. I think it used to be a Bombshells, actually, which surprisingly didn't make it. Or Bombshells moved. I shouldn't say they didn't make it. I think they moved up the freeway.
Oh, okay.
They moved out of that Nassau Road 1 corridor, and I think they found it like a more proper location for them, like right on 45, instead of being tucked off Nassau Road 1. And it had a great parking lot. And again, it had a deck, like a little social deck, so you could be right in the cars.
Yeah.
But be in the restaurant eating and enjoying, and it was open. They had all the garages, so doors and stuff like that. Open. So you could just see all the comings and the goings, which I think is part of the action. You know, I mean, I like the comings and the goings. You know, I like people coming in, like, oh, what's that? We hear it. You know, guys at the table. Oh, that's a 1972 Dodge Charger. You know, you're just trying to. You hear them speeding off. You know, what is it? What is it? What is it? Or, oh, he held that gear way too long.
Oh, he's gonna burn out. How do you know? Just listen.
For whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is funny because at Twin Peaks, the Shenandoah Police Department's literally an 8th mile down, and you know people are rolling out because you got these YouTuber guys that are sticking cameras in people's faces, and I've never seen more people make bad decisions with a camera in your face. Like with a camera in my face, I'm on my best behavior. You know, more or less. And
depending what I'm in.
Yeah. And so when the YouTubers stick the camera in their face, for some reason, in some people, they lose their composure and they roll it out. Because they're on camera. They want to look good. I understand. When we were street racing, I wanted to be a bus length ahead of you. That's my car in front. I get it. I've been there. I understand it. But the difference was we were roll racing. I'm not like trying to justify it. It's just the difference.
Oh yeah. No, I get you.
You know, but now when you got the exits, you got people that are into first gear, slipping and sliding. Maybe traction controls on, maybe traction controls off, and we've seen it. We've seen the accidents, and just.
So I have a buddy of mine, because you're talking about doing things for, like, as you say, like attention or whatever. I have a buddy of mine that hates when people go underneath the underpants.
Yeah, rev it up.
Yeah, rev it up.
Yeah.
He hates it.
If it sounds good, yeah. But like, say, motorcycles do it all the time, right?
Yeah.
Trucks do it. Diesel trucks will do it. You know, a little cloud.
Yeah.
You know? But if that annoys him, I get it because there is times when I'll laugh or I'll be like, "Fucking serious." Oh, Jesus, man. Or I'll do it, and then I'll be like, Troy, you just did what you hate. You know, something like that. You know, you hypocritical son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, like I told him, I was like, I like doing it, but I like doing it once in a while. I'm not that one guy that always does it every time.
Sure. Like, I mean, a lot of, you know what I'll do? Well, I feel better about it when there's nobody under the overpass.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody to hear it.
Yeah.
And
Just
you're
me.
doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
And not for everybody else.
Yeah, who cares if they hear it up top? They won't know.
Yeah, the pigeons. I'm doing it for the pigeons.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the pigeons.
You know,
but,
you're seeing if they're flying away.
But no, I will say I hate it when it's a straight pipe, nasty sounding car.
Sure.
When they do it underneath the freeway.
I think we all like music, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like, you know, like cars can be music, car tones can be music, and when the music sucks, you don't want to listen to it. And so when I had that E46 BMW M3, it had like a dying exhaust. It sounded horrible. It was horrible. It sounded like bolts were loose in the muffler. It sounded like angry bees. You know, it didn't have this nice exhaust note. But like things that weren't fast that I thought that had the best exhaust note that wasn't super fast were two cars, but they were the same car. Was the G35 and the 350Z and the 370Z. All those little, you know, for everyday car. I thought that had a great exhaust note.
The G35s,
and then it became the G37.
They have became my nemesis. So it's been on my mission to get a car and to make it where I can at least beat one.
I remember back in the HI days, there were guys just trying to get that car up to 500 horsepower and breaking transmissions and differentials left and right, just because the car was designed for that. But it was a good-looking car.
Oh, it was.
It was competitive in the realm of the time. And, watching those guys just get it right where they thought they had it. Take it out that night. Ready to take on Houston. Pop. You know, and you see you're waiting for that, like you said, the forums, you're waiting like for the next day to see what happened, and everybody's trying to chime in, and you know, because that was so funny about that, you know, again, it's
the forum days.
The forum days were the fun times because you were waiting for that answer, and now with Facebook, it's just like information overload.
Yeah, like now
from all directions.
When it happens, and you get to see it at the moment. Back then,
Facebook Live, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
man, but it's happening right now.
But there's so many like pictures and videos on HI where I'm like, God, I wish I can go and find them. But they're
those guys, you know, again, probably have wife, kids.
Yeah,
you know, they're not in the game, or if they're in the game, they probably have cars in their garage, but they're not out screwing around. Kids, take note of that. These guys got a taste, got a family, had some important things in their lives, work, children, jobs. So of course, jobs work, but
health.
You know, health. There you go. Well said. Things, priorities.
Yeah.
You know, and matured up a little bit, and trust me, they probably still go have fun every once in a while, but probably don't tell anybody.
Man, like me, like I said, I haven't taken my car out. Well, I can't take it out. I have a dead battery right now, but I have issues wrong with
the club. Dead battery at home. As a matter of fact, I'm so sick of my car sucking down batteries. I've unplugged the damn thing.
Well, like I said, I don't drive it as much no more because it needs the coilovers need to be adjusted. Some more shit needs to be.
Especially on Houston roads, you gotta have your suspension top notch.
Man, I got rear-ended twice.
I do not like driving sports cars like say downtown or but back then it was even like Westheimer, Richmond. Yeah. They weren't the best roads, and there were sections you had to be careful.
Like I remember back in the day, I used to race right there off of what is it? Right there in Magnolia, right there by the coffees. The coffee factories. I think that's
like off 1488.
No, right here off of Lockwood, Wayside.
You're talking about over here.
Yeah.
You said Magnolia. I was thinking right there by the Woodlands.
Oh no, you think Magnolia, Texas? I'm saying
You're talking about
Magnolia, the hood.
Oh, the hood.
The hood.
Shit. You remember, I'm a white boy from the suburbs. You know, we didn't know a lot about the hoods up in the Woodlands.
But no, yeah, it's right here. I think it's Wayside or Lockwood in Navigation.
Sure, sounds devilly
well,
hardcore.
But no, it's a long stretch, but it curves.
Well, I know Wayside and I know Lockwood. I used to work, you know,
Yeah.
when, you know, been down those roads, let's put it that
But
way.
yeah, man, I remember one night I was racing against this car, and I was in my little Ford Contour SVT, and then this car pulled out and turned in slow, and I remember the dude just went around, and I had cut it late. Man, I was like that close of hitting the curb and flipping over.
Oh, let's not do that.
Now, that was a long time ago. That's when I learned. I was like, yeah, no more.
Yeah, like I said, we've all been there. I've all done that. I've seen people get GTRs airborne, you know, entering freeways from a Galveston cruise. You know, people leaving the meets the way they do, you know. It's there, but...
Wasn't it that one? I think it was Yaw or HI that had that one dude that lost... I think either he lost control and he wrecked into two cars... And the cops came and found out that he had no license and no insurance.
Shit.
It was a long ass time ago. It just popped in my head right now.
Because there was so much going on. Sometimes even as like the person that puts it all together, your attention is so strung out. Like especially when I was like doing like the meets for Texas 2K. Mm-hmm. I did the Texas 2K night meets forever. You know, Peter gave me that from Texas 2K. That was a good time. And those were fun events to slightly design. I mean, it was easy because it was Texas 2K.
Yeah.
You were just the guy that said where everything was going to be. But it was fun to be the messenger on that.
You're the guy with the air horn? Well, not the air horn, the horn?
I did a lot of drama in high school. I could project my voice. I never liked using the air horn. I like talking. I get the voice up a little bit, you know, project, you know. But no, this was like in the forum days. So like I'd be the guy on the forums. Hey, you know, we're going to Frankenstein's, you know.
But also it was so cool. Sorry to interrupt you. It was so cool that also sometimes when you would get those random text messages, car meet at so and so.
Yeah, you're like,
let's go.
Up.
Yeah, I remember one time I was working at Target over here, the Beltway in Fairmont, and my phone went off, and I looked, and it said, Highway 6 car meet. I'm like, what the fuck is this messaging me?
There were a lot of car meets on highways.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, bet. And I remember I made it from here to Westheimer in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I booked it.
Those were good times. That's how the information was passed around. You know, text messaging was in its infancy at that time.
Yeah.
You know, but See, before that, we had pagers.
Yeah, the pagers.
For that,
payphones.
We had nothing. Well, payphones. Yeah, you had payphones. Yeah, you had to keep honestly, had to keep some quarters in your pocket. You know, to use that. Now, I thought a quick funny story on my end has nothing to do with cars, but I dated this girl in high school. She was awesome. I mean, just awesome. I thought we were so cool because she had a cell phone. Back in 1993, it was the size of a suitcase. You had a shoulder strap. It probably was like the size of like 2 car batteries. Curly Q, hit the thing. Houston Cellular, $10 a minute at the time. Thing took up half the back seat. Couldn't hide it. You couldn't hide it. You have to maybe put it in the trunk. You know, I think I remember her mom saying, "Maybe you put it in the trunk if y'all goes. I'm gonna put it in the trunk." I thought we were so cool back then.
And then that's when they came out with the phones in the car.
You know, it was funny about that. I had a conversation with my dad the other day because my dad was a businessy guy, and so he was always having to talk to somebody. Like he was always on the phone in the car. Mm-hmm. Back in even in 90, you know, and so my dad like Cadillac at the time, like Mercedes Benz. My dad had an S500 Mercedes Benz. Every year he bought one. It was it was always black, blah blah blah, you know. But he always had a car phone in it, you know. And I think, you know, and it was funny. I was watching some movies the other day, like Casino, where it's like I think it's like right at the end of the 70s,
yeah,
like really close, like 70, 80, 81, 82. They were on car phones.
Yeah, I know.
It was so interesting back there. But the car phone, like, it didn't click to get it out of the car and into your hand. Now, maybe the technology wasn't there.
Yeah.
But you know.
The idea, the concept was there.
Now you can, like, talk to your car through the phone. Now you can text, like, through voice to the car, to the thing. You know, even my truck does it. You know, that's only a 2020 Ford F-150. You know, you can get the text message right there. You don't have to look at the phone. You can look at the screen.
Where it tells you now.
Yeah, you can read it out to you, and, you know, some voice will come on and be like, Troy, Highway 6 at Westheimer, 12 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, I know, because my dad used to work for Southwestern Bell back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my dad, you know, he knew how to do phone work and all that. And then I remember he finally figured out how to wire up a phone car in his Suburban, in his 86 Suburban.
Yeah.
I remember he had one. It was the one where you had to turn around and dial.
Yes. Yeah, it had the
dial pad on
the big pad, and it was on the phone, and they were big buttons, big rubbery buttons.
Yeah, you had to, like, push.
And they doot, doot, doot. They weren't like a tone, like a touch tone, but they made a tone.
Yeah.
When you hit them.
Yeah, I remember that, and then
there was no caller ID on those days, so when you picked it up, and somebody you didn't want to talk to, it was like, shit.
He's not here. There you go.
Somebody picked up.
Yeah, I remember my dad doing that. I remember, man, my dad did a lot of work for people for their phone service. Yeah. Man, we used to go. I don't know if you know Delta Tires right here on 45 by U of H.
Delta Tires.
Yeah, it's called Delta Tires. It's a tire company. They've been around for years, but
they like install tires.
Yeah, it's like a tire shop.
Okay.
Yeah, but they've been around
and
for years. Yeah, rims and cool. Tires and all that.
Like it.
Yeah, and like I said, they've been around for years. So I've been knowing them since I was a kid. My dad did work for them for a long time. My dad did work for people for Hollywood Theater back in the day, Cinemark when they were little.
Oh God, the movie theaters was fun.
Yeah, you know, and
I used to live in the movie theater.
That's how I was whenever my dad did that. We were always at the movie theaters because my dad was always there working.
My parents were movie nut jobs, so we were going to the movies sometimes twice a week.
Now I was there at least twice a day, maybe, with my dad, because one, we lived on this side of town, and some of them were over here. And I remember he'll be working, and I'll be able to watch movies all day, all night long.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
And then I was able to get, like, free popcorn, free whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So I lived there. And then my dad did restaurants. I don't know if you know Monument Inn, the one right there off of LaPorte by the...
Is that like a... Mexican seafood restaurant?
No, the Monument Inn is the one right. It's a seafood restaurant. It's just seafood. Yeah, seafood.
I'm half right.
Yeah, it's right there where the old where the battleships parked at. Well, where it was.
Texas. Well, where San Jacinto Park is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over there in the refinery district.
Yeah. You just keep going further down until it's that ferry.
I'm not super familiar with the restaurants in that area.
Okay, well, yeah, my dad did business with them for a long time. I don't know if the dude is still the manager there, but I know we used to go eat there too. And then, of course, with El Hadrin, Mamacitas, and all them. I know all of them.
Mamacita is the restaurant?
Yeah, I know the owners and all them.
Yeah, I dated a girl that she was Spanish, and she completely introduced to that culture of food.
Yeah.
You know, she loved to eat. I don't know how she kept her weight, like this, stick right here. I don't know how she did that.
Yeah, I have Mexican candy here if anybody wanted any.
I've been staring at it. I'm like, she left. We would go eat, she was the one to teach me the difference between Tex-Mex and authentic Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I thought Mexican was Mexican. Oh, was I so wrong? You want to go to a place where the menu's in Spanish.
Oh, yes.
That's my little, my North Star to eat good food, that I would tell people, like, Troy, Tex-Mex is cool, and it is. I love Tex-Mex, but there's authentic Mexican just because of just where we are, and the cultures that are here. And it's like, yeah, you want to go where the menu's in Spanish,
where everything's playing in Spanish.
Don't understand a damn thing.
For us, it's like normal. We're just like, for us, don't get me wrong, I love it to dip, but sometimes after a while, man, it's just like.
Well, you can only for us, it's like in the suburbs, you can only eat so much Taco Bell. You can't eat Taco Bell every day.
Look, I love beans and rice and much of the next Mexican person, but after a while,
who loves to eat. I mean, my God, my car probably doesn't even go that fast anymore, but just because I'm weighing it down. But yeah, no, food's great. I love food. I love cooking, and Houston's such a great town for that.
Oh man, everything there.
Houston is such a great town for flavor. All the cultures that are here, and and that actually ties into the car community.
Yeah.
All the different people that you see there. So to make the point of Houston has flavor is absolutely fact. We have some of the best restaurants of all nationalities in Houston. So that's such a great thing. But then I think it's also such a great thing in the car community where you just get to meet people from all over, different backgrounds, and if you respect people and you want to be treated like you want to be treated, I like listening to all these stories of people from all over, from different backgrounds, because there's a lot of success stories, people that were dirt poor now have 15 Lambos in the damn garage, beautiful wife, beautiful house, beautiful children, so but at the same time it's like stories that they have, you pick up on the life things that they've done in their lives to make it better.
I know there was a point during the whole Houston Underground car scene meet, during our time.
Yeah.
It was a time where I was like, man, I wanted to document something. I wanted to do something, but I didn't.
If we had the cameras of today during then, and not so much social media, I'd say just shelve that. But if you could document those times a little bit better. But maybe there is footage out there because, the 60s, the 70s, they're all really heavily documented.
Yeah. You just got to find the people.
Yeah. Who's got that footage? You know what? And I remember in my kitchen in my house, I had a complete drawer where you put dishes, like cabinet. Not a drawer, a cabinet. And I didn't have a social media room. I had the little tapes where I used to stick the camera on my car. And when we got street racing, and they were tapes. They were before there was digital. I had stacks and stacks, all written dates, maybe like a car, something I could remember it, like when you raced a particular car, like me versus Supra, me versus blown Camaro.
I'll never forget. In my little Honda, I raced this Ferrari. This dude wanted to race me. He was like, let's just go. I was like, why? I'm like, I already know you.
Do it, bro.
Yeah, he was just like, it's so, we were just driving, and he was just like, let's just go. I'm like,
gave him an excuse to get on it. He needed you to help him get to where he wanted to be.
I know, and I was just like, all right, let's go. I go take off. He just goes, phew. I was like, there's no point.
That was the point. Yeah, trust me. And there were times when we were actually out misbehaving that you knew what was going to happen because you knew the guy.
Yeah.
And you did it just to see where you could hang a little bit. And funny story. So this is how some of the cars even back then were so badass. I'm not going to mention names. And if he's listening, I know he knows I'm telling the story. So there's a heavy hitter guy that I'm through HI that I kind of started to see at some meets, and he was always talking to me. He treated me well. He'd always ask me how I'm doing, and I was like, I think I like this guy. He's very kind, he's very nice. He's got badass cars, and he had this nasty 4th gen Camaro with this massive turbo. Couldn't tell you about the build because the guy was kind of secretive about his builds, which I completely get because we were all kind of secretive about because you really didn't. I understood the concept. Like I put all my cards out on the table. Like here's my build here's the dyno, here's it signed, triplicated, it's notarized. That's my mod list, and a lot of people didn't like to advertise their mod list.
Everybody would get mad at me. They'd be like,
no, and there was always people looking.
Just say you're stock to the paper filter, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, you just got a tune and a
air filter,
mass airflow, or intake, just like all right, whatever, and then so we're out about, and it's a group, it's a good, we're all together, and he rolls up on me. I was like, shit, I'm gonna get messed up, but I just want to see what happens. I want to see his car just get it, and that was kind of the other cool part of it, just seeing other cars do their thing. And man, so he gets in it, and I kind of jump it because I know I'm going to get but I want to look good for a split second, right? Just for a split second. And so I go on 2. I'm gonna lie, I go on the second honk, okay. And then you just hear this thing roar up, right? And he gets up to me, and his blower his intake is on the right side of the car. As he goes by my window down, his intake blower sucks the oxygen out of my cab of my car. There was a minute where I couldn't find oxygen because it's being sucked out of the car, and I couldn't for like literally a heartbeat. It's just a heartbeat.
Yeah, you're just like
I was like, and yeah. And then another funny story is another good guy that was with the old school HPDers had a massive single turbo Supra, black, beautiful car. And again, another guy that did it back in the day, married, kids, and and just has those priorities. But I'm sure he still wishes and probably looks back, at these things. And anyway, we're on 610. I go on the second honk like I like to do. And I got to be doing a $160. Okay, got to be doing a $160. He reels me in, looks at me at 160. This funny as hell smile and wink, and then just cuts it out at 160. Puts a train on me, not in the fun way. And good times, good guys. And again, pushing the envelope, doing some crazy stuff that we did, but not doing takeovers, not trying to kill anybody. And again, yes, you could argue that anything could have happened, but it didn't. But it was a different environment, and we were guys that were really trying to put ourselves in the best environment. Mm-hmm. You can't control that environment. Don't ever think you can control that environment. Not in a million years. Not going to happen. But you can put your best situation into that environment, and try to minimize the risk, minimize the liability of what could happen.
And I know it was crazy because I remember I had an accident. It was a long time ago during when I had a Suburban, and me and my wife, we were in an accident, and I remember we got hit from the side, and I lost it, and just cutting. I mean,
trying to find it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I mean, the truck got totaled. But I remember my wife was like, "How did you learn to?" I'm like, "Baby, from all the time they're losing control of racing."
And not to give anything justification. Once again,
yes,
being out there was a little bit of training. When you did those things and you felt the car and what it did and what it should be doing and what it can do and can't do, and you pulled it out.
Noise.
Yeah, or let's say you got squirrely, or you left, like back in the day before the YouTubers were out there, and you left them eat little sideways, and you felt the car coming out from underneath you, and you either gave it more gas, or you stood into, or you turned the steering wheel a certain way, or the best thing was just to get out of the gas. You kind of learned. You got better at it. It was like practicing.
Yeah, exactly.
But then that's why I like the events that we were doing, because I said, oh, God, okay, because so people aren't always going to be this lucky, this maybe, I shouldn't say this talented behind the wheel, but let's really try to make a push, because because in those days, street racing was getting more and more and more heavier.
Yeah. And
then you had like your Kmart bust, because street racing had got to such a point, the local law enforcement said, enough is enough of this stuff. We're going to put all you people in one parking lot, and we're going to make an example. And that's happened to me on my own Galveston cruise. Matter of fact, we don't have that much Galveston cruise. We've had 2 Galveston cruises since 2017, because in 2017, they arrested my ass on Galveston Run.
What the hell?
Yeah. So leading like I do, and you know what? You've been doing it for 15 years. You get kind of used to it, right?
Yeah.
Like you've been doing it for 15 years. It's like experience. It's like, yeah, we're going to see cops. That's going to happen. But you just don't do anything stupid. Use your head. Yes, sir. No, sir. Make sure your car's legit. Make sure you got your license, your registration, and front license plate. That's the stupidest thing in the world. But, don't be a dumb douche, and we'll get through this, And then now, but so like this one, so 2017, we're going on 288. Yeah, we're busting through Angleton. Situation doesn't look good. Cops are coming out of every orifice that the highway can provide. They're coming from the northbound. They're coming from the southbound. They're coming up the freaking feeder roads. They're coming in from the entrances and exits. Everybody. Brazoria County, Angleton, State Police.
Legit. So y'all had a legit Too Fast, Too Furious moment.
Yes. They actually grabbed an 18-wheeler. They saw this cop jump on the side of an 18-wheeler and told him to lurch that thing across the freeway on 288. So that way it was a roadblock. So then what they did is they essentially cut off the head off the snake. So there was probably a group of 40 of us, 50 of us. And I cop, because I'm the first car, I'm first contact. I actually introduced myself as the coordinator for the event. Introduced myself, telling them who we were, what we were doing. I said, hey, you realize that there are 200, 300 cars coming still. And he kind of looked at me like I was full of shit. I was like, all right. And then it was pandemonium at that. Then it became pandemonium. Man. And then, actually gave me my ID back, said I was free to go. Like, because this is what I was used to. Maybe giving an ID, maybe not giving an ID. But gave my ID because it's what he wanted. I'm gonna do what the police say at that moment.
Yeah, until we learn new things. Yeah,
they just they end up taking me in for racing on the highway when I wasn't racing. Was maybe doing 105. Sure, give me a ticket for 105. Send me on my way. Don't 2 jails later, $10,000 later, 2 lawyers later, a year and a half later, 13 months of probation later. I mean, they gave me basically the same deal as a DWI. The same kind of consequences.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was the stupidest thing. And it was Brazoria County. And, and so that took a lot of wind out of my sails. Like, oh, my God. I mean, yeah, I got away with a lot of stuff. But then here's the moment. You're really not even racing. And the cops are flexing on you. And you're just like, man, come on now. And this was the beginning of when social media was really showing cops in a bad light.
Yeah.
Like really showing a lot of their oversteps and overreaches that they were doing because, again, a camera was on a phone and it was 2 clicks and a phone could record it and Facebook was going and, the news media is like this shit. And that's what I told the cop. I mean, you wonder why people don't like y'all. And he kind of understood. I laid into it. I was very nice. I wasn't yelling or screaming, but used my God gift for that gab and really painted this picture of y'all are in the wrong on this. And
yeah,
I'm gonna be thrown in the meat grinder because I've been in the meat grinder before. I'll come out tore up or I'll come out on top one way or another. We're gonna come out, but yeah, that whole laundry list of bullshit that I just rattled off was to get out of just that. And so it took me kind of out of the kind of like, so even when you're not fooling around, I still got jacked up and maybe just stick to the parking lot stuff, but people still want the cruises and I still want to do them. But, again, my car has issues, so it's just not like, let's just turn it on and go now, and I'm a terrible procrastinator. So there's a lot of work that my car needs to be done before I start like throwing my hat in the ring but I don't want to throw my hat in the ring like that anymore. I just want to cruise and enjoy the car by myself and go to meets but go to other like Steven's meets and go to
I don't have all team bash yet. They're coming on. They're going to be coming on as well.
It's so stupid because it's like with like back in the day HPD actually we started getting into the meets like I don't think we ever did all team bash but we did things like Import Face-Off.
Yeah, Import Face-Off.
And the Falcon D drifts, the Greyhound stuff. There was a Greyhound Park. And those were club shows. And
then Hot Import Nights?
Yeah, Hot Import Nights. I liked Hot Import Nights.
I never went to one.
Yeah, I think that was at George R. Brown.
Yeah, that was George R. Brown. And then, only George R. Brown.
Yeah, I loved all that stuff. I mean, my tastes were changing. You're going from BMW M3s to C6 Z06s. I was tracking the M3 a lot, traveling.
So, okay, refresh my memory. Your BMW, the one you're talking about, is that the one that's like the one on Need for Speed?
It kind of looked like it. That was like I think that was a CSL. I think it was called a CSL, and that was actually a European M3. Two-door?
Yeah, the two-door, the silver and blue one.
And it had like little hood slats in the front. Yeah, that would have been an E46, but I think that particular, if we're going to get to boil this down to the bone, I think that was called a CSL, which was a European version like a premium version of the European M3 of the E36 at the time.
And then those square ones, some badass old.
There was the E36 before that.
Yeah, them old.
And these are just like the generational numbers. Like you say, like C5, Z06, C6, Z06, C7, Z8, like the generational. That was that. I don't know if BMW did it that way, but that was the numbers that represented the chassis generation.
Oh, okay.
That's the way to explain it. I don't know. I could be completely messing that up.
No, you're good.
But the smaller M3, the square body M3, those were like some of the first drift cars too, because they just handled so well. And you take some weight out of that. It had a great little motor. I think it was like a 3.2 liter.
I don't know. I just like them because they're just small and boxy.
That's how that particular chassis is how I liked M3s. And then, but when I wanted to buy a new car and could afford that kind of car, it wasn't till then. Yeah. And it was the next generation past that particular one you're talking about, which I think is a little better looking, a little bigger. It was a little bigger, but just a little better looking. Just like kind of like Corvettes. Like C5 is a good looking car. C6 is a better looking car. C7's. You could argue that they're very similar, just the backs, but then the C8s are completely different monster now or a different design.
Oh yeah. So what's your idea on that one? How do you like the new design?
I don't hate it. I'm not going to go buy one. If I win the lottery, I'll go buy a C8 Z06 or a ZR1 Z06. But what I would probably buy before that, if it was on that line, is get a Jetstream Blue C6 Z06. It's just or a ZR1. I'd have a Z06 and a ZR1, even though they're so similar. The engine's differently. Actually, a Z06 I think weighs a little bit less than a ZR1, if I'm not mistaken. In the I don't know about the C7 ZR1s, but I believe the C6 Z06 it's a little bit lighter because like the supercharger on the ZR1's a little heavier or something like that. Where C6 Z06 is naturally aspirated.
Now that you mentioned about supercharger, let me ask you this: what was the most weirdest and stupidest trade of two cars that you ever heard of between two, like
a trade, like where one guy got traded in a car?
Like two people were trading, like one guy was trading a car to this guy for his truck or whatever.
Oh man, you know what? I couldn't really say that. I really don't know. I just don't think I paid attention to that kind of stuff. Well. I know people bought cars from there. We had a really good friend of ours. We called him the Godfather. That was his name on HPD. He was Italian. He was a little guy. His name was Jack Salvaggio. Super nice guy. Miss him a ton. Class act guy that took care of his people. And he was the Godfather. When Jack, was just like he would buy dinner for a table of 80 people.
Oh wow,
that's the kind of guy. And if you argued with him about like a meal tab, like you guys go to a nice restaurant or something, and we did that a lot back then because we were all friends. We'd all grab the cars. Let's go have a nice meal. Let's go have a steak. Let's go have some seafood. Let's go do something. And we'd go out and we'd have a really good big meal, drinks and big table, 10, 15, 20 people at a big table. Loved every minute of it. Everybody was having a good time. He would buy that. He would want to pick up the tab. He'd be like, "No, Jack, I'm gonna. You got the last one, man. No, you got the last 10. Let me get one." He's like, "No." And then what you do is you'd go run off. You'd grab the waitress. You'd say, "Hey, no, take that. Cancel that tab. I'm gonna pay that tab. Or here's my card." And then he would know that. He'd say, "No, give me that tab back. Here's $100 tip. Cancel that tab. I'm paying the tab." It was that kind of guy. And you couldn't argue with him because he'd just outspend you. He'd outspend you. And he had one of the first C6 Z06s, nasty motor built by late model Racecraft, scuba tanks in the back hatch and nitrous. And because he was Italian, the Bulls kind of their thing. Mm-hmm. And when you'd hit the nitrous in the Z06, it had that front snout or the intake snout. And they put red LEDs. And so when the purge, it looked like a bull. It looked like a red snout, kind of like the way the Texans mascot does it. Yeah. It looked like smoke coming out of a red, mean nose.
Oh, yeah.
And he had that's this guy. This is great. There's so many great people in HPD over the years, and even today. there's a lot of great people in it. There's different people then. There's different people now.
Oh yeah.
The guys that are still acting like, we're 25.
The forum guys again.
We're still in it.
The old forum guys.
Yeah, there's still, and I love seeing the old forum guys. But yeah, Jack was a great guy, and he sold his car to another girl that was another good friend of ours named Stephanie Simo. She was the craziest female driver I've ever seen. Very talented. I mean, super talented. She had some of the most badass cars in Houston, and she was a girl, and that was great. And she rolled with us, and she was a class act. And unfortunately, she decided she was going to go live on the beach in San Diego. So she's living the dream. If I have to wake up one more morning to my Facebook where she's just got her feet up having a coffee in San Diego in that beautiful house she's living in with her French bulldogs and all the cars she's got, I'm going to blow my brains out. It's going to be like, hey, guys, Troy killed himself. What did it? Oh, I was looking at pictures on Facebook of a friend.
No, that reminded me of that joke that Nick Swartzen talked about whenever he's like, can you imagine some guy who committed suicide and he yells out, who farted?
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
All with that question on the way out. Yeah. So they sold that car for ridiculous amount of money. But like trade wise, I can't say anybody. There was a couple guys that traded cars. There were some guys that traded some like older school Camaros. Not say up to date, but things that they had worked on, and they were like these engineers would get together. Guys, engineers they love building shit. They're just sitting there constantly plotting and scheming and designing, how to just one up each other. I'm smarter than you, so I'm going to design this, and or my shop is better, this and that and the other. And they would trade cars, and then of course one car may not run as well or run right, or the car ran right one time, didn't run right the second time, and then there's some issues, there's some tension on the forum, or tension between them at car meets, and you hate to see it because you like both of the guys, and you don't want to get in the middle of it.
You're just like, I'll stay over here with those people.
I can meet. I mean, if you guys really want me to do peace between y'all, give me a bottle of Maker's Mark, give me a big thing of chicken wings, and a joint. I'll get peace. World peace is here. I can do it.
Shit, that sounds like a good time. Other than with the liquor, I can't do liquor no more.
Oh well, you don't like kill yourself on it. I love drinking within responsibility.
Oh yeah.
Of course, have I done some stupid things off alcohol? Absolutely.
I think everybody has.
I think I could tell a story. Like that's again whole nother podcast of Troy's stupid decisions on alcohol. Always wanted to be life of the party, class come out and stuff like that. And sometimes you pay for that when you're drinking.
Oh,
because you want to be that guy that everybody loves and is funny. He's the funniest guy in the room. And I have a bad habit. That's my competition. I want to be the funniest guy in the room. Nobody's funnier than me.
Man, so how does it? I mean, I'm not trying to ask questions or anything like that.
Ask questions. Is what we're doing.
Well, not like asking questions. I'm just your thought, or if you remember all the guys before. Okay, like say it was Street Outlaws, Farm Truck before they all got big. Remember them on the forums?
I don't, because here's why. And matter of fact, I thought about this on the way down here because I figured it may come up. I didn't pay attention to that. So and I'll give you an example of some embarrassing moments on my part. So when I was hosting some meets, especially like during Texas 2K, or I was hosting some private stuff, and those guys were in town, people would be like, "Hey, that Big Chief's coming to your deal," or this other guy named Morello that was who I didn't know, a girlfriend of mine who's awesome, wouldn't shut up about this guy. And he's like, man, he's one of those street outlawish type guys. He's trailer car, and every time his car came on a trailer, or in an enclosed trailer. I think his name's Mike Morello. And my friend Jennifer had said, you got to meet this guy. And I was like, man, I don't know. I don't watch Street Outlaws. I kind of had a sour attitude about it. Like I wasn't motivated to go shake this. But for like 2 weeks, she told me this guy was coming in town, and you have got to meet Mike. And I said, all right. And so I had a dyno night, photo shoot where we had all the cars on the dyno. Right next to the dyno, we got 3 bikinis taking pictures with some of Houston's greatest photographers, great name, got Mike Wilkes, who was just another good guy. These great people, these great personalities, and been so fortunate for our level of the game, not Hollywood level, but for Houston level, and for people that I liked and I wanted to be around, and people that really made me feel good about being me. These were the kinds of people. And so, Mike was doing the photo shoot, and we were doing dyno nights and video and all this shit and having announcers and DJs playing fucking music. And the cars are all just jam-packed and everybody's standing there. Food truck, eating, barbecuing. Shit. And a lot of the events that we were doing, we had bars. We built a bar. Stupid. And, like I said, Sarge was doing all that kind of, and so Mike, and so I was like, I guess that's the Mike Morello guy. I got to go meet, because I'll never, Jennifer won't let me live it down if I don't go meet. Dude was the nicest guy. Dude was a head class, and you just liked him. The minute you shook his hand, I liked him. But I didn't know a lot of the street outlaws, and I know that, like, my good friends over at, like, High Tech Corvette, I think they started trying to do like a Street Outlaws Houston.
Yeah, I remember that.
It kind of had a couple good deals, but it was a little bit.
Yeah, because I remember it was kind of catching traction.
Yeah,
because at first it was Houston versus Dallas.
Yeah, there was all that kind of, and Houston
then
versus Chicago.
And when I quit, like, kind of following along.
That's in the show.
Huh?
That's in the show.
Oh, no. I'm talking about this.
That was before it was developing, when it was gaining its popularity.
Yeah.
These were some of the teams that were squaring off.
Yeah, like this was when they were doing it here. This was before.
Right. This I remember here it was like on off I-10 or something.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing a post on either, I think it was HI and HPD.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and I remember it was Houston. Whatever Houston team versus either the Dallas team or versus it was Louisiana for a long time.
Yeah, I think San Antonio may have had a little piece of that pie.
Yeah, I remember those. I remember those in the beginning.
Well, that's dig racing.
Yeah.
See, I was always a roll racer. I liked going from a 40 or a 20. It was easier on the car, and I was a terrible drag racer. So, like, I never drag raced at my own events because I sucked. I would embarrass myself. I was so nervous because I feel like all eyes are on me, and that's one of my many faults is I get so, like, sometimes I get, like, I wouldn't call it anxiety. I don't believe in that. But I would get so nervous that everybody's watching me because I want to look so cool. And this is Troy's event, and he's coordinating, and I put so much effort into this. I just, I want it to go right, and I don't want to embarrass myself in my own event.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Trying to do a burnout, and just making sure that was all good. And I would just drop first gear and just sit there and spin. And, spinning ain't winning. And, I think, drag racing's not for me. I like it. I like watching it. The street stuff, not like, like the big funny cars and all that stuff. I'm not into that. I respect it. I'm just not into it. It's not my, first choice of. I'd rather watch like 24 Hours of Le Mans or something. Watching all and seeing that gain traction was really. And now it's freaking TV shows, on Discovery, and everybody's again picking their guy or like a couple guys. I think the women are even in it now.
I don't know. I quit.
Like in the more up to date stuff, like
Oh yeah.
I want to say like I saw where they were doing it in Memphis, and because I was born in Memphis, I kind of like, well, what are they doing in Memphis? It's like what Memphis is a power town? Like power street racing town? What? And because I was like, again, just being from Memphis, I was interested in it. And it wasn't my cup of tea, but all the arguing and setting up this and who's racing that. And apparently these guys have raced each other in the past. But, yeah. And then the girls, like, are in it now. It's like almost like a co-ed thing, which I think is great. Because it's good to see that's hot. Seeing a chick roll up in a nice car.
Don't get me wrong. I'm teaching my daughters how to work on cars and understand cars. That way, when they have their own car,
some of the most attractive girls I know can know more about cars than I do. And have nice cars and are good people. Yeah, sure. When you're surrounded by a bunch of dudes and things could get a little bit. Give me some elbow room. Give the girl some space, guys. Jesus Christ.
Quick, move.
Yeah.
Let's act like gentlemen.
Right? Just let it. Just make your move later. Just don't gotta do it now when she's getting out of the car. Shit.
Man, but back in the day, man, when a girl will roll up, man,
rarity.
We were like flies on shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was a rarity, because it was a male dominated thing. And when you saw, like for me, the hottest thing was like Asian chicks rolling up and like, even an S2000 back in the T-Works days and lovely black hair and the short skirts and just beautiful.
Them old Super Street magazines.
Oh yeah, trust me. I mean, that's why
I still got some.
I watch Fast and the Furious for the girls. I don't watch it for the guys. It's stupid. Yeah.
I don't even watch it no more. I kind of gave up on it.
I think I stopped watching Fast and Furious like after 4 or 5.
I think same here too.
I don't think I haven't even watched 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, I lie. I watched the one where basically it was Paul Walker's last film, and then the one following that, and that was it.
It was the second one.
It was
the
fifth
third
and sixth.
one was Tokyo Drift. What was the fourth one?
The fourth
what
one
was after Tokyo Drift.
It was called. I think that one was called Fast and the Furious. That was when. I think that was when Dom took off to Mexico or
something like Brazil,
some shit like that. Yeah,
this is Brazil.
Yeah, what that was it?
I completely didn't do a Van Diesel, but you got and I don't really look like. Remember he's out there and he's like, "This is Brazil," and
no. I get what you mean. I'm just trying.
Well, let's see, like the first Fast and the Furious, because I love TV. I love shows and things like that, movies. The Fast and the Furious, I thought actually the first one it had its Hollywood turn.
Oh yeah,
on what the life really was.
Oh yeah. No, don't get me wrong.
And I even think the second one it got a little bit. It got a little bit, now we're dealing with crime syndicates, and things like that. And
first they were street racers, now they're secret agent astronauts.
Yeah, more or less, and, honestly, the first one was my favorite.
Oh, yeah, I think that's everybody's favorite.
What's your second favorite Fast and Furious?
Tokyo Drift.
I love Tokyo Drift. And again, it was for the girls. Best looking girls in any Fast and Furious.
You know what? I'll agree with that. I'll agree with you on that, but the only other reason why it's my other favorite one is because seeing those underground car meets, and then actually when we had the first one here,
I remember that.
Who did that one?
Oh my gosh, was that like Houston Underground Races?
That was long.
They've been around for a long time.
Oh,
and
they
have? Did some stuff that was like I don't know if I'd go that direction. I'm not saying I wouldn't go that direction. I didn't say that right. I just didn't know if it was something I really wanted to get into. That's kind of...
Man, it was cool.
You're teetering over that edge we were talking about with just But again, I like that underground atmosphere. I like that elite club. I do. I like that fraternal. We're not all, there's tension. There's competition. But yeah, in that tight environment and in the parking garages and mirroring Tokyo Drift. And there wasn't as many chicks as there should have been.
Oh, no.
But... Houston has some beautiful girls, but there wasn't, again, it was a bunch of dudes hanging out. I'm like,
yeah, but there was no, racing in those underground meets.
No, that was just hanging out.
I remember that.
I think some of them were downtown at some parking garages. And
it was downtown.
I remember the guys, trying to be as a coordinator. I remember seeing how they were doing it.
I was one of the first ones, if y'all don't remember. I was the dude in the Yoda suit walking around.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, because I remember, as a good idea... Consolidate it, multi-levels.
Yeah,
I like that. You can walk the levels. You go
down. I think it was only 2 levels.
Okay.
It was trying to be 3, but it was only 2. It was on the bottom, second, and then...
I don't remember what streets they were on.
I don't remember either.
But then, of course, again, when your car's that far off the ground, getting in parking garages aren't always the easiest thing. And I was like, well, we can't take a car because, carbon fiber body kit's going to go poof. I don't want to do that, But yeah, those were good meets. Those were good ideas.
Yeah.
In the whole realm of good car meet ideas, those were good, and I like that. And I played a game that an event I wanted to do. Probably shouldn't even talk about it because somebody's going to do it, and I don't want.
You don't have to.
I don't want to give anybody the idea, but I'm going to talk about it because it was a great idea, and I'm not going to do it. Was Need for Speed Pro Street. Now, what I did do...
Oh, the events.
Yes. So it was a combination of street racing.
I forgot about that
Remember
game.
That was like the second or third Need for Speed, but it was called Pro Street.
Yeah. Do you got to go pee?
Man, I have the strangest bladder where, like, I don't pee until, like, later on in the day.
Okay. No, I was just asking because I got to go pee. That's what I was asking.
Go hang it, man.
Oh, no, you're good, man. You know what? I'm just going to let it
You
go.
were fine. You were fine.
No, just let it go. I don't want to drink. No, you're good. I drank some liquid IV and
Oh man, yeah, you got to hydrate in this heat, bro. I mean, trust me, I go to the restroom. I just, being a party animal like I was for a long time, it was the greatest thing because you didn't have to pee till the end of the concert.
Oh,
no matter how much you were drinking. But yeah, those Fast and the Furious times. Those, I mean, like I said, the first one was good. Tokyo Drift was good. The parking garage led to that kind of stuff.
And yeah, because you're talking about doing Pro Street.
So Pro Street was a combination of drift, track, and drag.
I remember that.
And it was a great little three combo because those were like the three hot genres of racing at the time. And the best thing about it for me is in the middle of the track, they had a rave.
Oh,
and
that's
I was
right.
into that kind of stuff. I loved raves. I liked the trance music and dance music and going to raves and dressing up and staying up till sunrise. And
well, I didn't do that here. I did that in Dallas when I lived in Dallas.
Yeah, there was good raves in Dallas. There was really good raves in Austin, and there was a lot of good raves in Houston. And then I just dated girls that loved the clubs back then, and
I was barely in high school, but we would go into like certain little raves that people would have. Mm-hmm. I remember back in the day, the radio stations there was K in Dallas. It's KNON 89.3. They're still on, but it's like 4 or 5 other like stations in one. So you had to catch that one at a certain time.
Sure, it's like they shared the airtime or something.
Yeah, and then there was another station where after it was like hip hop and all that too, but after on a Friday and a Saturday, it was Friday at 5, Saturday at I think it was 4 or 6. They would play another but techno music.
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah. I mean, more trance.
Yeah, trance.
Vocal trance. Now, techno is, to me, like my alarm clock.
Yeah, well,
it's got some annoying sounds in it, or it can have some annoying sounds in it.
Progressive house trance.
Yeah. So, I've liked all that stuff before it was even out. Like, I like trance music when it wasn't even trance. It was like, you go to like an observatory, and they would have these interesting music that were like space. Yeah. Like sounds. I liked that. I don't know what it was because it would just you like the beats. There was high tempos, low tempos, but then when they started adding lyrics in it, it was even better. And then it was like, let's go to Miami. Yeah, actually, dude, I used to go to a club called Rich's back in the day. It was a gay club. Mm-hmm. Except on Thursday, it was called Straight Night, but it had the best dance floor downtown. It had the most clubbish rave type atmosphere. It had beautiful girls. I mean, crazy beautiful girls. There was an entire contingent from the Woodlands that would take over the upstairs bar, so I knew everybody up there, and everybody was. And these were fun people to be around. A lot of personalities, a lot of beautiful women. People I went to high school with, for God's sakes. And that cool Woodlands crew would take over that upstairs bar. And this before we were 21. And I'd be home from college, in the summer times going there, just because I just liked the music. And had glow sticks. Glow mouthpieces.
Oh yeah, the mouthpiece
They had
with
the
the little glow
mouthpiece
sticks.
that would glow in your mouth, and I had the most gaudy gold sunglasses with mirror lenses, and wear them in the fucking club, like oh my god,
Elton John.
it was so fun and so stupid all at the same time. I love those times, and it was wild. It was wild.
Yeah, no. During my time of that, man, I wore the big baggy clothes. I had the spiky hair. Sure. I had them. Man, it was crazy.
Talk about fashion too. That's a whole nother podcast. We could talk about fashion from the late '80s to the mid '90s. Did you have a pair of Z Cabaricis?
No, but I had a pair of Jinko jeans.
About though, jungle jeans. Do you remember Z Cabarici?
No.
This might have been. See, this is when I was a junior high though, so it's maybe.
I was born in '86.
This was probably like right at like 89, 90. Kind of MC Hammer pants, but not.
The parachute pants.
Parachute pants were Michael Jackson. This was like MC Hammer, like tight waist, but flaming out legs, tapered, and then went back to tapered.
Yeah.
So you had these real baggy, and it was weird about the tag on Z Cabarici. It was right on the crotch. Yeah, there was a tag right on your crotch, and that's how you knew you were wearing Z Cap. And they were expensive as shit. Back in like even the 90s, they were over $100 pair of pants, which was unheard of. And then Jabot came out after that.
Yeah, Jabot, Jinko jeans.
Yeah, and then so all the hoity-toity stuff,
Jinko jeans, how they went from like a regular poof, and then they went. Wow.
Yeah, so all those god awful styles. But which is funny about that though is what's so funny is some of the styles that we had back then are making it back today.
Yeah,
I'm seeing the kids wear the young people. I shouldn't say kids, but I'm seeing the young people wear shorts are back.
Yeah, flares are back. For women.
Remind me what flares were.
For the women that wear like this, is like tight pants, and then it goes down to where the bottom,
like a tapered.
Yeah, like a taper. The flares down.
Okay.
Yeah, flares.
Almost like it sounds like a bell bottom almost.
Yeah, like bell bottom.
Okay.
Kind of.
Shit. Oof. Yeah. And then the gaudy turtlenecks and sweater vests that we had.
And then all the mismatching colors of the 90s.
Oh my God! It looked like something you threw up after a night of Jello shots.
The 90s fashion.
Oh my God! I mean,
it was so many colors.
80s was was colorful and big hair and all that. 90s, early 90s, kind of kept on those colors and wild designs, but the shapes of the clothes changed. And then the 2000s, it got just kind of bland. Like it just was kind of
Well, I remember I kind of grew up between the two realms of the fashion. Mm-hmm. So I had one sister who would wear that would do the Aquanet poofy hair. Okay. And we'll go out to the club. Hairspray. Yeah, the Aquanet.
Yeah, just the country girls in our high school, because we were suburban kids, but you did have a level of. Called them the kickers.
Yeah, the kickers.
But those country girls had those tall bangs.
The bang that like this, and then it went like that.
Oh my God, yes. Oh,
all that Aquanet.
You remember?
Yeah, so I had one sister that had that hairstyle, and then I had another sister who was that chola type. She had that slick brown hair with the thin, not thin, but with the bangs that
came. How would you describe that? Yeah.
And then the brown lipstick, the plaid. Shirt.
Very gangster.
Yeah,
very gangster. Yeah,
I had the two.
Yeah, I even dabbled in that for a while because I thought it was a cool style. It was stupid. You button the top and you let the rest of it go.
The old cholo.
Very cholo. Yeah,
the old cholo.
We just called it gangster back then. That movie, like American Me, was out. And that was like that had come out, and all those guys in prison had the top button. You thought, you gangster, you bad. And then of course when you're growing up in the 90s, when gangster rap is coming out and hitting it big, like your Tupac and your Eazy-E.
Yeah, your NWA.
All that hardcore
Cypress
shit.
Hill and all them.
Yeah, Cypress Hill. Yeah, I had a friend that loved Cypress Hill. Oh my God, I played Cypress all the time. These were the cassette days.
Oh yes.
And the cassettes going into CDs were a great time. I like the CDs a lot better. I was like, yeah, all right, we're getting, but it was still when you would go to Blockbuster and go down the aisle and find you had a Case Logic binders, and I had friends that had like 4 Case Logics, like the big ones, not the little folders. Like I'm talking like Masso binders.
Yeah, driving in the car.
Yeah, flipping it, or you throw your Case Logic over to your co-pilot and you find that CD and he's just flipping through page after page. God, I remember that was.
It's like, bro, hurry up and find something. I don't know what to put on.
Yeah, but I like it now with just like a touch of a button, and everything's linked to your phone and your tunes are on your car. You just one button and you're listening to, you can make playlists. And your driving playlists.
So, did you ever listen to a lot of any of the H-Town music during that time?
You know what? No, I didn't. But I had a girlfriend that Latino girl. She knew she was into that. Like she knew about Chop and Screw.
Oh yeah, Chop and Screw.
I didn't have a clue what she was talking about. And this was still when your girlfriends made you CDs.
Oh, yeah.
So that way when you played the music, you thought of them, right? And I had a great girlfriend at the time where she actually, some girls would just give you a CD, wouldn't even like label it. Like you didn't know what the fudge was on it. She actually put the number 1 artist song, beautiful handwriting, wonderful handwriting, and
the CD.
Yeah. Even write on the CD, little hearts, love you. And I still don't have those CDs to this day, but I did when downloading was a thing.
LimeWire.
I downloaded a lot of those songs because she had actually pretty good taste in things that I didn't know about, like with like some of the rap and the Latin rap, like she got me into Pitbull.
Oh, okay, man, that's a dude. If you want to hear some fucking conspiracies or some shit, that's a dude to listen to.
I don't know about the backstory. Dude was just a Latin rapper, singer, and I liked the tunes.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like he's smart. He's fucking smart. There goes my dog.
Oh,
but no, he's fucking smart. But no, I mean,
very entrepreneur.
Yeah,
dude dressed to the 11s every day. Guy probably just walks into a room and women just flock and.
But other than that, but like but like he grew up in Cuba and all this.
Yeah, I don't know where he grew up. I mean, I don't know anything about his background. Obviously, I didn't know who he was until he was mainstream.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a story there. It'd probably be real interesting to know, but.
Well, no, because it was talking about the whole rise of this whole how they're trying to censor people.
Sure.
How
it's out there, yeah.
How everything is right now. So
he was, I said, I don't know if you want to touch that subject matter.
Man, that was but anyway, but yeah, but no, like it was just where he had came out and was talking about it. How he's like, y'all don't know this is actual, communism. Y'all don't know what this and this and that. And but yeah, like so that's a whole another topic. But
I didn't. I couldn't even. I think it's cool. I just don't know anything about it. Like people like Paul Wall. I don't know anything about him. Like I know what he looks like.
Yeah.
I know he was big about the grills.
Yeah.
But if he played a Paul Wall song, I have no freaking clue. But the girl I dated, she did like some Chameleon Air. She liked him. He would rap about Houston.
Yeah, he's from here.
Matter of fact, he had a house in the he actually had a house at the country club we were a part of.
Oh wow!
Never got to meet him, but he had a house in a community in the Woodlands called Carlton Woods.
Oh,
he had a massive house. I mean, like bonkers house. Are you talking about like
MTV Crib House?
Yeah. Just gaudy, big, well designed, shit everywhere. I wonder what was in his garage. I wonder what's in Pitbull's garage right now.
Shoot, man, you want to know what's in Slim Thug's garage? Just wait for him to go live on Instagram.
I think there was some Slim Thug on that CD. So again, you got to talk about like a khaki wearing white boy from the suburbs, right? I wore khakis and polos. Okay, I lived in that. I sleep in that. And so on the golf course, got Chameleon Air. But the girl I dated, she was tough and very Latina. I knew. I had. I'm just gonna tell one story about her, and she did a lot of car stuff with me. She did. She hated every minute of it. She hated it because it wasn't fun for her. And that's all we were doing was car stuff, and she tolerated it to a degree. But there was moments where I knew she hated it. She hated it. But I love barbecuing. So I'm barbecuing at the back of the house, got your pit going. I had to go inside real quick to, pick something up, get something from the kitchen. And I had left this like huge knife on the railing right by the grill, and there's a window over the door. Well, I come back. She's got the knife, and she is stabbing this tree that's right off the deck. Stabbing this fucker. Just tearing this tree up with this huge-ass fucking... And she's not... You know how girls... this is just me being funny, so don't crucify me, okay? You know, like sometimes girls just throw balls. Just,
oh, yeah.
They don't have that graceful form. Or, I'm sure if they played softball, but let's just pick a, girl, random girl from your school. She's kind of maybe have that little throw. Guys could have that throw too, but girls have it. And anyway, she didn't stab a tree like a chick, like just. She looked. All of her stabs were straight on the other stab, and not only did she stab, she twisted the knife on the insert so the wound doesn't close, so you bleed out.
That's what I told my daughters. If you ever have a knife or something,
I knew I am never gonna piss this girl off. I'm learning about the Latinas. I'd hear stories because you hear the other Latina guys would come up to you and you'd be like, "Bro, you fucking crazy? Are you fucking crazy?" I'm like, "What do you mean, dude? You know what you're getting into, right?" I'm like, "She's hot, isn't she?" Not talking about that.
You're talking about the levels.
Talking about she'll fucking kill you. You cross that girl, she'll stab your ass in your sleep. Like, no. Naive me. No. But no, she'd kill you. But it made me never mess around or do anything stupid. Was I perfect? No. But yeah, good times. That's just another good thing about Houston. Just women are beautiful. The food's beautiful. The car scene's beautiful.
So how was it coming from your vest? I want to bring it up. Coming from your vest and khakis over to seeing a whole different kind of realm over here. Oh,
the South Side's actually fun. The South Side, you got to bring your A game when you come to the South Side of Houston, because in the soft suburbs up north, we have a lot of good times, and we go the extra mile. But down south as a whole, on the South Side of Houston, I've always joking about the South Side of Houston. Is it because it's a little rougher, it's a little tougher, but you get down to like Clear Lake and all that jazz. Those people party like crazy,
and not just that, but there's also what they call
there's a lot more fights on the South Side. There's a lot more like brutality. It's a little tougher. So when us boys from the North Side come down the South, we keep I keep my mouth shut. Try to coexist with everybody. Try to keep my jokes to a minimum. Try not to engage everybody. But yeah, it's sunrise sometimes, and you're just like, God Almighty, these people are crazy. Because we go to these bars, and hang out and car meets and things like that, and everything on the South Side was a little more wilder than the North.
Man, here in Houston, man, people give the North Siders give the South Siders shit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the South Siders give
that
back.
And I love that conversation. Is the South Side doesn't want to drive up to the North Side because it's too far to drive.
It is.
I fought that forever. But when I started doing meets from the Woodlands, like in even Clear Lake, or not the Galveston cruises, that was fun because it's come back. But like when I was doing like the Twin Peaks Meet South,
oh yeah,
I was doing that. You're making that fucking drive, and you're just like, could have done it right here in the Woodlands. And I like the Woodlands. Woodlands is a great place, but Houston used to be a better town. I don't want to dog on our town, but it's kind of turned into a toilet bowl. And I think it's like if you look at Houston, you've got 99, Beltway 8, 610, and the more you get into 610, it's turning into a toilet bowl.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Houston's never been a pretty city, in my opinion. Like, it's not the ugliest girl on the block. It's probably the funnest girl on the block, which has its merits and attractions, right? But it's not Miami. It's not LA. So as soon as I win the lottery, I'm heading straight to Miami. I don't know about y'all.
I know I got some family who. My mom says she wants all of us to go to Hawaii because she went.
That's beautiful. That's gorgeous. I've never been. My parents have been, and you know, and seeing YouTube is what it is.
Yeah.
I love watching people travel.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I love. You know, I got into podcasts, and then on YouTube, I like the people that travel and put on good content, and you know, do like car stuff, like Route 66 or the Dixie Highway, or travel from the Gumballs were were a good, all those car events, those coast to coast.
Oh yeah,
car
the
deals.
Gumballs.
I got really into watching the Gumball 3000 and the Players Run. I love the Players Run because that was sponsored by Playboy. You know, so they had Playboy Playmates driving cars, hanging out, and you drive 6 hours a day as fast as you can. But you had to get to a certain hotel. Sponsored by Playboy. They'd have a party that night. You get Team No Sleep. Wake up in the morning, drive and hustle up another 6-8 hour day, dodging cops. Driving across the best country in the world. Try not to get busted, and
what was the name of the other one that had like all the cars, but they were like lifted and lifted? Off road.
Oh, off road.
Yeah, there was just cars though. Like I remember seeing the Bentley. There was a Bentley one. Then there was a Crown Vic that they had lifted.
Shit.
I can't remember what it was called.
Sounds like just driving around downtown Houston.
But yeah, no, like they would have it at like I can't remember what it was because I stepped away from the car scene, like import scene, and I started going into the off road.
Yeah,
and I started seeing all that.
The cars, though.
Yeah, cars. Like they would lift them.
Oh, jeez.
Not a stupid high, but just enough to fit some tires on there, and then they'll cut.
There's still some of that. Like I see some of the car meets, like the Saturns, like the rally cars.
Yeah, like some shit like that.
You know, like they have like like Subarus that are a little bit beefier, but they can jump shit. You know, kind of like before Raptors were out.
Yeah. And then like I know there's that one.
We're not talking about like gangster cars, right?
What do you mean?
Like gangster cars, like big bodied cars.
No, like
lifts and the
there's
26-inch.
No. Not with donks or nothing like that.
Okay,
yeah, like
this
is like off-road rally type stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is the one where they'll have like
the rally. Yeah, I think you were talking about like the off-road rally, like Euro rallies and things that are because the streets are smaller in Europe.
Well, no, like they had them here, and it was at an event, and yeah, it was like a almost like an off-road track, and you would race or some shit like that. Yeah. I can't remember. But it was cool because I remember seeing the people with like I said, with the dude with the Crown Vic, he had lifted, he had cut out the back because he had put 2 tires in the back. Like it looked like an off-road thing. Sure. That shit was crazy, but I don't remember.
Yeah, another fun event that was around Houston. I think they still do it. It's the 24-hour of Le Mans, but not like from France. It's the junker car racing. That was always fun to do. Just I sponsored like 2 cars like all the time for those. Right, there was guys in HPD that were in those little click circles we talked about.
Yeah.
That, and I got to make everybody happy, right? I try not to give too much attention to one group. I'm the moderator. I'm the linchpin between everybody, all the groups. And that's the way HP is today. I feel like HPD today is the linchpin between other clubs.
Yeah.
So HPD is what it is, but I love it when I can get a Porsche club, GTR club, Mustang Club, Camaro Club, Corvette Club together, get clubs together and be, the moderator of that. But yeah, with the other stuff, it was, absolutely hilarious. God, those cars were so fun. So yeah, you saw certain rallies type stuff. And
then there's the one that the cops, I know Speed Advocates, I think they sponsored or they were in it, but there's also the one where the cops, it's called Cops and Racers, where they're like
called Cops and Cars.
Is it Cops and Cars?
I don't think Steven has anything to do with that though,
or something. Oh, I mean,
he does. He probably had. He could. I don't know everything Steven does. I definitely know a lot of what he does.
Well, no, because I seen on his. I think I did mention to him. I don't remember no more because I seen on his.
HPD
there was a truck.
Has a deal called Cars for Cops.
Was that the one that they did out there in?
We do so much at the same. Everything's done at Little Woodrose.
Oh no! This was like a derby, like a derby thing.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, like they race, and it was like cops versus racers, and
I've always wanted to do like a beat the heat.
Yeah. That right there, they'll get old junkers.
Okay.
And then they'll fucking race it.
Yeah,
they did it out there off of 105.
Doing it, but I like the concept, and especially trying to get people off the street and get people educated. I always wanted to do, like, I reached out to Houston Police Department several times about it, but never got anything done.
Yeah.
We're just like, they would take the good old cruisers but then also bring out their interceptors, like their Camaros or anything they confiscated that they made into a true interceptor.
Yeah.
And then even a Tahoe, just to see how you ranked against a damn Tahoe fully loaded, right? Because you're kind of curious, right? It's a Tahoe. Because now they're in Explorers and Tahoes. You don't see any more Crown Vics. They're all in SUVs. You rarely see a true police car.
Yeah.
And everything's now SUV'd up, So I was like, I was kind of thinking about, well, what could I really do, and just, I guess, and that was the thing. So I always wanted to do a Beat the Heat, never did it.
Man, yeah, no, like I said, I seen it because some people on my Facebook and on my Instagram that started doing it. I was like, hey, how'd y'all start doing this? But they never messaged me back. So I'm like, whatever. Yeah,
that happens a lot. I get so many people that reach out to me that I don't respond to. I feel horrible, because it's just like I just have a vision. I know what I want to do. I know what I can handle. I know what I can't handle. Like I said, a little bit of a control freak in the events and stuff like that. But yeah, but to your listeners, yeah, I mean, you need to come out to Twin Peaks and Cars and Cocktails at Little Woodrow's. I mean, it's the funnest. It's so fun, It's just getting all those people together and hanging out.
I actually want to talk to some of the people in the cannabis community and maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if y'all are able or if you're able to maybe coordinate something called Cars and Cannabis.
No. We're already stretching it enough with Cars and Cocktails, and I constantly have to. I've always got somebody. Oh, way to promote drinking and driving, and I got to go through this whole spiel of this is why you're wrong.
Yeah.
And if you really read the text, what's past the See More tab in Facebook, look down, you'll see that we've taken a lot of precautions to make that event as safe as we can. It's not for, you can't get in the bar unless you're 21, so there's no underage deal. We hire Harris County constables and police.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, again, that's not a cure. It's not a 100% guarantee, but we work with the facility, we work with the door guys, we work with security, we work with management, and that's a corporate deal. So, like Little Woodrow's it's not just a single bar. I think that I never had a friend of mine came to me with that idea. He was half the catalyst for the Cars and Cocktails, and that was one of the hardest meets to get approval because we had to jump through so many corporate hoops because that company owns so many bars. And thank God with like Twin Peaks, the regional manager was already there and gave him approval. I was already talking to corporate. With Little Woodrow's, we started with like the on-site GM, next above him, regional GM, corporate GM, and it was just this like we had to get everything approved. It was very difficult. So that's why I'm like, you guys need to come to Houston Cars and Cocktails. I've worked too hard.
Man, y'all heard it. Go to Houston Car and Cocktails. My bad.
Houston Cars and Cocktails.
There you go. I'm getting tongue-tied over here.
Oh yeah, trust me. And the last Sunday of every month. It's like I said, it's just a good thing. We have VIP. We have like 4 VIP sections. You have the. I'm into old movies, so we call it the Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah, so it's like the top 12 cars, of that, and then we have a domestic VIP, we have an import VIP, classic American VIP section. So it's like 56 VIP spots total, and then we have like 200 open free, first come first serve. Just park around the cones, park around the ropes, and if you get there early enough, you're right next to VIP anyway. We're trying to work with the bikes. We want the bike guys and really because I think that's a great two different cultures that share a lot of DNA. Yeah, 2 wheels and handlebars, 4 wheels and a steering wheel. But everybody kind of likes performance, and things like that. And I think when we were out street racing, 9 times out of 10, there was probably 1 or 2, 3, 4 bikes in the herd that were out there and you were seeing what you were doing against the bikes.
Yeah.
And those guys are on a different level of crazy.
Oh, yes. I met some through working out of town, and I'm just like, I don't know how y'all do it.
Oh, yeah. I saw some bike guys doing things and just like, oh, he's going to die. No. He didn't die. Jesus. Interesting.
I know, especially when they're doing them wheelies on the freeway.
And then they're doing the wheelies at like 100 plus overpasses. Overpasses.
Yeah,
and you see that back tire just coming
dancing.
And you just like in my mind, I'm a worst case scenario guy. That it's just gonna come out.
I'd be like, if that was me, it would have happened a long time ago.
Skin. I see from the soft woodland suburbs, we have this like soft skin. You Southsiders, you know,
we have these
y'all wear your scars with pride, like
we have
like medals on your chest. You know, the more scars you have, the tougher you are. And the woodlands were not so tough.
No, because over here we have the refineries. We have
sure, exactly,
all that.
Exactly. Y'all are very hard workers on the south side. We're like we're behind keyboards and nice mahogany desks, and woodlands and boardrooms and oil. We're in the oil rooms.
Hey, not every north side it's like that. Because I even worked in the north side.
I just love the north side. Yeah. I do love the woodlands. Love that area. That's why it was so funny. It's like I hadn't been out of the woodlands in such a long time. Coming down here, I was like, what's changed? What's new? What's going on, South Side? What's going on since the last time I've been down on the strong side of town? But yeah, because that's always a funny thing. Because I love that because we actually did a north side versus south side at Hennessy's place once.
I was about to ask you, have y'all did anything else more there?
Yeah, we did it my opening was like we're gonna draw a line in the sand. You know, it's I-10 is the line. So if you lived on the north side of I-10, that was your group that you ran, that you were gonna represent the north side.
Yeah.
So if you were up, south side of I-10, obviously you're gonna be the south side. South side boys, and it was great culture clash because it was like newer cars, fast cars, north side, but the south siders had older, not say cosmetically as clean, but way faster. You know, kind of like your street outlaw mentality. You know, the drag racing, and I think like Northsiders again were more roll racers on the north side, things like that. So yeah, those are good times. And Houston's was such a good town. You know, Power City. You know, and
so how? I mean, not to throw you off, but how was it doing stuff over there at Hennessy's?
Well, Hennessy, we don't do any stuff anymore. His business changed. They closed that track, too, kind of like the way they did Houston Race Park. He doesn't want to, I believe that they don't want, that there was a lot of money in the upkeep of that track. Uh-huh. And I think they use it for a test track now to test out. Once the Hennessy's build something, or the staff has built something, that shop's built something, I think they use it to just make sure everything's running okay. I don't think they haven't had events out there in years. So now we don't have a quarter-mile track in Houston anymore. You've got HMP, which is the 8th-mile track, which is still cool because the old saying was in like dig racing, was that's really where you're going to know if you're going to win or not.
Oh,
you know, the 8th mile is you're going to know if you're faster than the other guy anyway. You don't need the quarter mile to really know. But for the dig racers, for like your twin turbo guys that don't roll out as much, that need a little more room to catch the guy that launched out, that kind of stuff. So if Hennessy still had, it was still LMP, Lone Star Motorsports Park was still that, we'd probably go that direction. And it's sad that real estate being in Houston, so because you saw it with Texas World Speedway in College Station, the track sold it.
I know there's another drag race. You're saying another drag strip. Mm-hmm. I think it's. I remember seeing it. It's off in the boonies somewhere over here on the side of town. It's deep in the woods somewhere. I can't remember where. I
know that there's another road course on the south side. That was the old Blimp base that's on the south side.
No, this is somewhere.
It's called Grand Sports Speedway. That's a road course, not a drag.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Figure that'd be all that would be left, because I think HMP is on the
north
east side of town.
Houston
West
Motor.
Side of town. No, it's on the east side. Of
northeast.
Yeah, it's right
northwest.
Off of Beltway 8.
Northwest.
Yeah, somewhere up there.
Yeah, because the only thing we had over here closer on this side was the Baytown. Mm-hmm. Before they closed that one down.
And what's so funny is that, of course, 99. Go right from the Woodlands down 99 to Baytown. And you want to talk about some nice road and kind of speed. You get to Baytown in like 5 minutes. And it's like you get us access to Baytown where we don't have to come down freaking Hardy Toll Road about way 8 out. And you mean I can leave the Woodlands and come around all the way to Baytown? And now you shut down the track? Bunch of assholes.
So what was the reason why for that one too? Same thing, the upkeep.
You know what? I don't know the background. I think because 99 was coming through there, I think the real estate was just too much. I think tracks are fun to own, but they're grossly expensive. And if I just had to maybe throw an educated guess at it, I bet somebody gave them some money for the land that they couldn't say no to. It's like, why? Let's just stop throwing money at the wall. Not a lot sticking. I'm sure taxes have to be paid on that property. I'm sure the upkeep, employees, staff, you got to keep that up to a certain safety standard. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of overhead. And I'm sure, not that they really wanted to get out of it in their heart, but in their wallet maybe. If I just had to kind of guess, maybe. I could be completely wrong.
But, hey, you may never know. That's why I said this is a conversation. We don't know, but, hey, we're talking about it.
It's worth speculation. I mean, it's not like we're hurting anybody. But I don't know. Like, I couldn't tell you exactly why. I don't think there was anything bad, like anything negative. I think it was just a business decision.
Yeah. I think, like you said, it was just maybe time.
Yeah, it's like the real estate. I mean, that's the same thing which was baffling to the road course guys, because we had Texas World Speedway in College Station. That awesome road course that was just so fun that I loved counterclockwise or clockwise, and then you got to stay in College Station, and we'd all go into the college town, eat, have a nice meal, race all day, get instructed or be instructors, and you went up there with your bros, and and you went with people that. You wanted to be you want to have a little faster track time, and it was a good facility, and everybody's kind of even Steven, which I liked, and the way they grouped everything, and Racer's Edge, and then I think Chin were doing high performance drivers education classes up there, and then I think College Station and Houston were, I don't say meeting, but I think they were they wanted that land, and and you saw that track go through a lot of changes. Where, for give you some examples, it's like 1 year they sold the metal and the bleachers. That back in the day, I think it was I don't want to say it was a NASCAR track, but it was a round track, and then they built the infield, and it all mixed in, because when you went to the embankment, that was the NASCAR part, but then you went on to the infield, which was the track part. I don't know the history of when. All that, the timeline of that track, but it was two tracks in one, which was awesome. So you got all the road course technical stuff, but then you got that long embankment. You could you get up to $180 before you had to get on the brakes, and you're this way, and that was cool because you felt like your Days of Thunder kind of shit. But yeah, I think the realist, and so. They used to have bleachers where spectators could. I mean, huge on the whole mountain. I say mountainside, hillside. Come on, that's not a mountain. And then one time the bleachers were gone because they sold the metal for scrap. And then it was like because you spend a lot of time there. You talk to management and people talk, and you'd hear like, "Oh, they're going to sell it. They didn't sell it. They're going to hold on to it." And I think that thing was like for sale for 20 years. I could be being sarcastic, but or maybe other people bought it and exchanged hands, but the track operated anyway, because even the scoreboard looked like from 1977, like light bulbs missing, and it'd never been painted, and
that's a nostalgic right there.
Yeah, and it was like old road signs from Route 66. For me, it had nostalgia, and I liked it. I always stopped and took a picture every time I rolled up into the track. Stop under that old raggedy Texas World Speed sign, right on the track, car on the trailer, get out and take a freaking selfie. But you go, I wonder if they're ever going to paint that. And then you'd see differences in the track and things going away. Like, not say deteriorating, but just things going away, trying to get their expenses down, their overhead down. There were shops on the grounds. I think they started closing, and just so you don't have tenants paying like a rent. So you've lost that income for huge property. So God only knows what the property taxes on that property were. But there's only so many days. In a week that you can, they didn't have events every week.
Yeah.
So so it's sad to see that go.
Oh, no, my phone. Seeing. Nah, man, but it's good to hear that there's, that there was other things, like, it's good, like, for me, it was good to hear, other tracks and other history and, from your point of view, because, again, it's, before my time, and I don't.
Then you could bring up, like, things like Rankin Road.
Yeah, the Rankin Road races.
Which two? Now, if I need to make sure I'm always, I say 100%, but it really wasn't Rankin Road. I think it was called Goodnight Trail. It was off Rankin Road.
Yeah, because I worked during that time. Well, it wasn't in the beginning. It was,
that was the,
that wasn't the beginning.
yeah. It was like, when that shut down, I had just got into the auto stuff.
No, because they brought it back up again.
I think it had a resurrection.
Yeah, in like the 2000.
Yeah. Early 2000s, it had
It
a
was
reemergence.
either 06, no, 6, no,
Probably, I think so.
5, 6, 7, somewhere around there. Because I was working security, and I was working right there off of Rankin, and right there at St. James.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time at St. James.
Yeah, I did security there, so I would always.
Hopefully, you didn't throw me out at all. Like,
I never threw nobody out of there.
Oh, okay, good, because I never got thrown out. Right, I was on my best behavior all the time.
I never got to throw anybody out of there, but I always got a big tip
Be a fly
for
on the wall
taking.
at St. James.
And I remember going in there for the first time, going, "What am I supposed to do?" Got
God?
security.
Heaven, thank you. And yeah. Then there's that. That's a whole different history of the strip clubs.
But no, I remember working there and hearing them in the back. Wow, wow, wow.
Oh yeah. I could remember a couple times in the early days when I was first going there. You'd walk out at 2:00 in the morning or somewhere around there, and you'd hear off in the distance. You just
Theoretically, around that time,
faint noise. And you just like, as a car guy, you were like,
it was like when the dogs when they hear a whistle.
yeah, exactly right. I couldn't have put it better myself. Yeah, those were wild times too. And then of course that was weird because that was a well kept secret for a while. But then the cops didn't care in a way. I'm told the old schoolers would say they didn't care about that because there wasn't too much grief going on because it was the north side. That area, the north side, was very undeveloped, so there wasn't houses. They were kind of out of the way, tucked away down that road. I think obviously there was some accidents and things like that, but I don't think there was any real hoopla that caused a big sting. Now cops did go down there quite a bit, but I think they just ran everybody off and people came back, and it wasn't like, maybe some days the cops sat there and oh, it's a cop, we're not going down there. So, but I think that's what changed. That was the beauty of roll racing. You never were in one spot for very long.
Hell no, we weren't.
I mean, that you just kept going. Just line up, honk it off. And the best part of roll racing was when they finally built the east part of the Beltway. And now that whole part of town actually evolved street racing. So before you had the Sam Houston Tollway, they were still Beltway 8, but it was all lights. So you got dig racing the whole way down. I mean, we would race from 45 to I-10, that whole section, and then just zip 10 back in.
That was back in what?
That was like in like the early 2000s, 2006, 2007, 2008, 10, 11, 12. Then it I think.
Yeah, because I remember. Yeah. I'm starting to remember now because that was when it was those videos are going around of the Beltway.
Yeah,
and
then when they built the toll road part, like there was the feeder was what it all, and then it became the toll road that was always elevated, and it's 3 and 4 lanes of the best concrete, and you can see for miles and miles. I mean, that was some of the best roll racing we ever had was on the east side of the belt.
Those were some badass videos that were on the.
And then I was particularly a fan of the Hardy Toll Road. I thought that was, it was a little curvy from, say, the Woodlands to Beltway 8. But once you cross Beltway 8, it was straight from Beltway 8 all the way to downtown.
Yeah, because it goes
3 lanes straight.
From the Beltway, it goes all the way straight, and then that's when it splits off.
Yeah, that was too. And that was back when you still had manned toll booths at the time. I mean, the pandemic was only 2020, but you had to have an easy tag.
Yeah,
and that was fun. But that was just a good road, and there was only Harris County constables were the only people that patrolled that road, and you banned it out on your radio. You could send word back, everything's good, or flash your hazards and brake brakes mean cop, or flashers mean cop. But a lot of times I would turn my lights off, turn them on. That would mean everything is on. So there was a.
It was funny because we all had little.
Yeah, we all so it almost had its own little language.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
it was weird. Yeah. And then I don't know if you remember during that whole time of those one car clubs that would go around stealing from other fucking car clubs.
Ooh, no. See,
one of them. This is what I heard. I don't know.
Are you gonna drop names right now, Dave?
I'm gonna drop a crew name.
Oh shit.
Well, this is what I heard. I don't know.
This is what you heard.
This is what I've heard.
What'd you hear?
The Inky Boys?
No, I don't know that.
No, not the Inky Boys. It was the Shocker Boys. Remember the old Shocker thing?
Yeah, I know that insignia.
Well, I don't
know them.
Two in the pink, one distinct.
Yes. Shame on you. Shame on you.
I told you, man, this ain't for kids. This is for grown-ass people on this.
Is it what? For grown-ups? No.
Yeah, but yeah, no. It was their sticker. It was their insignia like this.
Okay. That's cool.
The Shocker.
That's hip. I'm into, branding, marketing.
No,
I think that was a great little deal.
But yeah, I remember from what I heard from other crew members that they would like try to befriend you, and then once they befriended you and they figured out what you had, they would.
Oh shit. No.
That's what I heard. So if any of y'all are still,
somebody needs to come in with some of those old school, like serious stories. Like the dark streets of Houston, the dark side of street racing in Houston, where shit like that was going down.
Fuck yeah, they do, because it was more of that than there was like.
Oh man,
that
didn't come across my desk, thank God.
Man,
I was just trying to survive.
That's why I told you.
I was trying to get my ass back up to the soft north, man.
No, that's why I said. That's why I told people. That's why I wish I had a fucking at least a decent.
Well, you know what?
Video camera.
Now you're kind of doing it now. You're laying out the groundwork for the talk.
Yeah.
You're writing the script now. You're writing the script of those days, and really, Houston had a great street racing.
It did. It had a fucking
somewhat,
phenomenal.
I'm not going to say it was safe, but it wasn't. Again, because you let out with the question about the takeovers.
Yeah.
Okay, you went from, or not say you, but that whole situation is just out of control. But if those guys that organize, participate in those takeovers, I think if they got a taste of what you and I are talking about, that shit would die of natural causes, because they'd be like, "Oh, this is stupid." It's hard to explain to somebody that age, I guess, or somebody that maybe enjoys it. And you're trying to figure out.
Like
why.
I said, I was trying to tell them brothers, but
like we're not. Like I said, some of these guys may be good young people. Maybe funny, good personalities, good characters, but maybe just they have a strange taste in what their entertainment is, I guess. And they don't understand consequences, and they don't understand like what the fire they're really playing with, like how fast that can get out of control, and the fireworks fucking stupid. When I saw that first takeover on Westheimer,
oh yeah,
I saw the video of the guy that was living in the high rise.
Oh yeah, he was recording that
right down on it, and dude, they were out there for it felt like hours.
Yeah,
like say 2 hours, just like, and I want to think like that's crazy, because I'm thinking. That's in Uptown. Yeah. That's on Westheimer. That's in the heart of the Galleria. And you can see the Post Oak sign hanging down. I'm thinking, when I came home from college and I lived on the west side, I thought that was like a very hoity-toity part of town, and it is. I'm thinking, where the hell is HPD? The other HPD. Yeah. Where are the cops? But I guess because that traffic and the way they can't get to the intersection.
And then when they started doing it off the freeways. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it like on the freeway.
They just did one right in front of Minute Maid Park.
Now you're really we're going down a rabbit hole.
They went down. No, not you said down. They did it in front of Minute Maid Park, right there off of 10, literally right in front of George R. Brown and all that. They literally shut it down and did it.
45?
Well, yeah, the 10 that goes 45, 59 or whatever. Yeah, yeah, right there. They did it right there.
On the elevated freeway,
where
down slower in the street.
No, on the freeway. They did it there, and then they did that one just recently, and then a few years ago they did one right there off 59 by the light bridges, but further back this way before you come into downtown.
South?
Yeah, on the southwest.
So,
59.
Okay. So like going towards like say, not say Sugarland or
too far.
Too far.
Yeah, it's
more in town.
Yeah, it's where the light up bridges are at, but further. A little bit further,
like Dunleavy.
Yeah,
you're talking about that old school Houston.
Yeah,
right there, that southwest side of Houston.
Yeah,
really
they did it there.
Yeah. I had a lot of friends that lived over. I got familiar with that area. I lived on Montrose for like 3 years.
Oh yeah,
right after college. Yeah,
that was fun.
It had its moments of pure comedy that I saw things I can't unsee.
Hey, I've worked security, so I know.
Yeah.
Hey, I worked security, and I even did I did a security job at a gay club called Energy over there in Southwest.
Okay.
Yeah. That was.
Yeah, Dunleavy and those like older houses that have the lighted bridges. And we said lighted bridges. Like, what the hell is talking about? Oh, they put those lights on those bridges that are right under 59.
Yeah.
That's wide as hell. And yeah, I can see them doing that.
Yeah, they did it there a few years ago.
You could take that area over. Mm-hmm. You know, I see how you can completely do it. And you can't come down. There's not a lot of entrance ramps in that zone.
Yeah.
So how would the cops get down?
They would have to go all.
Yeah. Then if they're coming the other way, there's a barrier they got to cross. They can't come over the middle of the freeway. It's not like they could just. There's a hole or a way. There's no way to get down there.
The only thing is that shoulder is kind of wide, but then it narrows.
They got that all screwed up. You know, in a way, I don't admire it, but it's like they plan it pretty fucking good.
Like the planning is fucking badass, but the
whole action of it is stupid. But like to get away with it also is like, the fuck? How do they do that? How do they do that?
But now with social media,
yeah, it's like the cops know about it a little. I mean, like the cops used to monitor our forum for a while.
I remember, and then I remember that one dude that went out that would go to the meet.
Yeah, there was those. I wouldn't say narcs or whatever, but there were the two-faced dudes.
Yeah,
they were out there instigating street racing, and then that word got out. And then you would be like, and then you would see that dude. You'd be like, hey,
I can't remember his name for the life of me.
No, I can remember it was a heavy-set white boy.
Yeah.
That was, I couldn't tell he was a country kind of cat or a city cat, but there was a heavy-set dude.
It was a white dude.
That would go out to the meets and like...
Someone called them out on Instagram, on one of the pages.
I saw these call-outs on these
or
guys.
On social media.
Some kind of social media, let's say.
Yeah.
There was a call-outs. I remember it, and it was even probably post-forum time or, right when forums were maybe turning into Facebook, maybe.
Yeah. It was. I remember it went around. I remember that guy. Yeah, I remember him. I think he was in a old school Camaro or some shit.
Something like that. Or maybe like a Trans Am Camaro.
Something. I remember. I never saw him in person, but I remember seeing.
Yeah, goofy looking dude.
Yeah, I remember just seeing I just remember seeing the pictures.
Like chocolate, be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Man, but whoever took the time to
stop eating fucking donuts.
But whoever took the time to find out who that motherfucker was, man, hats off to that.
Yeah, because I think like once like. The dude wasn't a very good actor. Let's put it. He wasn't like Johnny Depp in 21 Jump Street. The dude was
like
a goofball. Amber Heard. Well, he was a goofball, and I think once like 2, 3, 4, 5 people got busted, that word's going to collect. It's going to get out very quickly.
Yeah,
especially with that social media time. And I think I saw pictures. I never saw video, but I saw pictures of this guy's
the pictures.
Working a go-between. He's working with the police to bust meets or bust street racers. Don't race him. If he comes up to you, shake it off.
Yeah, no, man. But other than all that shady shit, the one thing that I loved about our time of car meets was, man, you could roll up, pop open your hood, or not pop open your hood, and people come up to you and talk to you about your car.
Yeah, there was, that was the best part. One of the best parts of it was the interaction. And that's how you met people, and that's how all the stepping stones I ever did in the car community was exactly from what you just said.
Yeah.
Meeting people. That person, you clicked. That person would invite you out to something more private. It got more private. Then we were doing strange shit, like we were having warehouse meets.
Yeah.
There was a time, great guy, I don't get to see him as much. His name is Austin Offlick with Race Armada. And this guy came up to me and it's like, Troy, I just want to introduce myself. And he was just a, good-looking cat, dressed very well mannered. I think he was in the Navy for a long time, and he just had a good presence. And he came up to me, introduced himself. I said, Troy, I like what you do. I do events myself, and I don't ever want to step on your toes. I don't want to. I'd actually like to work with you. Well, anyway, Texas 2K is coming around. I'm not doing the night meets anymore for Texas 2K, but we were still doing private meets, and we rented out a 55,000 square foot warehouse that was like a car consignment dealership. They had all these classic cars in it. And so
I think I remember seeing you post that.
We moved the cars around. We built a freaking club inside the warehouse. We got red, white, and blue vodka to sponsor it. We just, everybody called every girl that they knew. And, we built a lounge club. I mean, they built this big structure, all the nice, cloths and lights and purples and all the funny, it looked like Miami in there.
Miami and Houston.
And then we had DJ, we had food, and everybody, and we just partied and enjoyed it and had a good time. And it was inside a freaking warehouse.
Yeah, I remember doing a few of those. They weren't big like that, but they were small.
It was kind of like the concept from the parking lot stuff.
Yeah.
Just more social, more party, more
the party type. Yeah, more
I know. That's what I like to do. I'm such a bad boy.
Nah, I mean, everybody to their own.
Terrible.
I hear my dog. There she comes. I hear that.
Yeah, like, man.
I know.
I don't want to keep you forever. It's like the longest podcast you may ever have. And
man,
once you get me started, I can't stop.
Man, you're good, man. I love talking. I love hearing.
Talking.
No, but man, it's fucking. It's cool to hear your success from when I first met you in 2007. This rinky-dinky little, I'm 36, to be 37. I was born in 86, so in 07 I was,
Don't get me to do math.
20, I think, 19, 20. I'm wrong. I'm bad at math, too.
So you're a young man.
So
I'm still a young man at the time.
But my knees aren't. But no.
Oh, don't even get me started.
But no, man, but it's so cool from meeting you at that time and seeing you in the beginning to where you are now to hear everything that you were able to do and you're continuing to do. And not only that you're able to go out and get big name sponsors, big names like John Hennessy and all these people to work with you and build your brand even to what it is. It's cool. I mean, even though, like I said, I know I stepped away from the car scene. I stepped away from the car scene, a lot and took my time away. But I've always followed the one that I followed. All my OGs and all people like you. And unfortunately, Houston Imports is it's taking its well-rested need.
Yeah.
I just wish there was
Houston. The HI was the
wasn't it the beginning?
It was the beginning.
Yeah, it was the beginning.
It was really the headquarters of the scene.
Yeah,
and I still have the guy that started that on my Facebook. But again,
I would love to talk to him about it.
I think just to rehash that. I think it got expensive. And I think he got like a good job that took him away from keeping in on that. But I still have Los was the
main guy.
That was the main guy. And again, that was somebody I only met like a few times. And like when I met him, I was like, what's this guy about? It's like, you've got this big ass following. And this is before like social media was really called social media. And all that, the street racing, the Houston street racing section of HI, great conversations. I met so many good people through.
I was always just in the regular forums following the meets and cruises.
There was the meets. There was the meet section, and then there was I think they had divided up like car brands on the import side.
Yeah,
like there was a technical side of that forum where you could ask like
tech questions.
They had sponsors. They had great sponsors.
Yeah,
they had a whole sponsor section.
Yeah, I remember going to the sponsor section.
Shops that sponsored HI, and HPD was very similar to HI, but not as big. And so HPD was, the forums looked the same, different colors.
Yeah,
same subject matter, different colors, different. But we all, and it was good to go to that. see what the import crew was doing, and then go to like HPD, which was a little more domestic. And I think that was, not to say a rivalry or anything by any stretch of the imagination, because HI was so dominant. That was the mecca of the forums and of what was going on when I first started out anyway. And
it was still like that when I started. When I joined in.
I can't remember what year.
I don't remember who told me about
it. Out, but that was a fun forum, fun website. That's how the information got delegated out. Where you knew the meets were, what you knew the drama was. I mean, I remember there's a guy named All Star that we just never got along. Never met the kid, but he had a rep for having like a 500 horsepower, like I want to say like WRX or something, and I could be a little brash on forums. A lot of people came to that guy's defense, and I'd get private messages were on forums.
Yeah.
You'd private message people. I mean, it was a little more, it wasn't as like messenger on Facebook, but it was a private message.
It was it was like you're starting a thread.
Yeah.
But in Messenger. With that person,
it
was weird.
You could add people to that conversation, from what I remember, because when I was an administrator on Bavarian Speed, and then I was actually when I became the owner of Houston Performance Driving, I had to teach myself the blue screen, which was the admin screen for creating sections, taking sections down. We had a goofy thing on HPD that I still love to this day, was where, like, we had sponsors in blue, we had moderators in red, we had administrators in orange. But if you came on HPD and you caused drama, we called them the drama queens. We would put your name in pink.
Yeah, on Houston streets, that's how they did it too. If you were just a regular person, you were, I think, like white.
Yeah.
And then if you're like a modder, it was blue. And if you're like part of the actual team, then you were a certain color.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember
everything was color coordinated.
Yeah.
And so if you were a stinker on HPD, we turned you pink.
Yeah.
And it would say drama queen right below your insignia, and then that was fun about forums too, was I had a little animated picture. Do you remember Whistler tips? Whistler tips were a little piece of metal that went in mufflers, and when you would drive down the road, they would go whistle.
Yeah.
Well, they had this like little video of these street folk that were very gangster, man and a woman, big, tall, goofy dreadlock, like Dallas Cowboys beanie hat, gold teeth hanging out. Chick was just as gangster as the dude, and they were talking about, like, why they got these, like, and because people were complaining because they'd be driving down the road and they hear this woo, and this guy go, well, yeah, get in my car, and I likes to go woo woo, and so my insignia, I loved that, and I found it from another guy on another website, and I stole it from another guy, because I thought it was funny. And it was the little guy's head. It was the guy from the clip.
Oh, that woo woo.
And woo woo. And it would be a little woo woo would come out. And I used it on every forum I had. And like every forum I was on, I put that little guy on there, and that was my calling card. Other than Ecstasy for and my call sign even back then was Ecstasy for Us, which is my game tag on Xbox. So I've always used that XTC, the letter for us, because it wasn't Ecstasy for you. Wasn't ecstasy for me. It was ecstasy for us, because I liked everybody getting together and having a good time.
Oh, yeah, that's the best thing. I mean, just like here, we're having a good time on this.
I'm having a great time.
Shit, we're 3 hours deep in this.
I know. I looked at the phone. I was like, shit.
I know. I'm about to say, man, shit. I might have to.
Yeah, you can't have it too long, because then just, nobody's going to, people are going to be like,
Yeah, no, I think
turning us off here.
Yeah, I think if I were to do a long one, I think the longest I think I'll do maybe 3.5 or maybe 4.
Even like Joe Rogan, his longest ones are only like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that's even with somebody that's like completely awesome to listen to. Like, people like, Dan Aykroyd, Mel Gibson, these old actors that like I grew up around.
Oh, yeah.
Watched and, or politicians. I'm into politics, even though we're not going to get into that.
That's a whole other story.
I like the politicians that he brings on there.
Yeah.
Even on both sides of the coin, because I want to know about the I want to know about the other team.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with hearing people talk.
Yeah, it's good to know what the conversation's about.
Yeah,
and what I like about podcasting is it's good to see that conversation.
Oh yeah,
because you get to see people's reactions, you get to see the body language, you get to see how they handle themselves, and I think again that was why AM radio was so boring for me, because it's just two voices. Yeah, maybe the conversation was what it was, but I wasn't into it. But when podcasting came out, I was like, God, I really like this.
Yeah, because
so when you invited me to your podcast, I was very excited about that, and I watched it. I watched some of what Steven, had done.
Yeah, I know my podcasts are professional.
It's like training.
Yeah,
the more podcasts you do, the better you get.
Oh yeah, I mean, then like I said,
you'll be the next Joe Rogan.
Oh man, don't say that.
I don't want to. That's where you want to get to. I mean, but again, I really appreciate the invite.
No problem, man. Like I said, I appreciate you.
I haven't seen you in forever, and it was good to catch up and have those stories. And you ever want to talk shit again, I'm your man.
Shit, man. Like I said, man, you're more than welcome to come back on. Like I said, I'm going to have to get you back on regardless, man, because I know you got more.
It's past my bedtime.
But like I said, man, I know we got more stories to talk about and more shit, but that's for another time, another day. Again, before we close this out, because like I said, I know it's getting late. And
just hang with us just for 5 more seconds, guys.
Yeah, just 5 more seconds. But no, man, like I said, if you want to go ahead and drop out, plug in all your info before we...
Here's how easy this is on Facebook. We do everything on Facebook. I'm so dedicated to Facebook, I don't even do Instagram. So if you Facebook, here's what I want you to do. This is how simple this is. I want you to like the Houston Performance Driving fan page. It's a like. That's where all the events are going to delegate out from. That's me and me alone delegating out HPD events and news and updates and a joke here or two, And then I want you to join the Houston Performance Driving group page, because that's like the forum. Mm-hmm. That's where everybody gets to talk about, hey, I need this, I need that. Here's my situation. I'm selling this. We don't allow selling, but I want to go to this motorsport shop. Which motorsport shop does HPD recommend? It's a way for the members to talk. And there's 27,000 people on the fan page, and there's almost 8,000 people that you can talk to on the group page. Then same thing with Houston Cars and Cocktails. We separated the two, even though HPD runs HCC. It's a separate deal because, again, with the alcohol and things, I want to try to only put people that are 21 in that group. So join if you are 21, if you're responsible and you like cars and you want to come out to the Little Woodrose event that we have called Houston Cars and Cocktails and Tomball. Follow the fan page, just like HPD, and then join the group page. Answer the questions. I'll let you in.
There you go. Y'all have it there.
Thank you, David, for your time as well. And I, like I said, I was enjoying the podcast that I was listening to down on the way. It was.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Like I said, it's just ask questions.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on, and
it was a great time.
And like you said, man, I haven't seen you in forever, and it's good to see you where you're at now. And it's good to, like I said, it's good to catch up. It's good to see where you're at now. I was gonna say something before I was gonna cut it off, but I can't remember. Anyways, I can't remember no more.
It's getting late, fellas. Like I said, we've been on this for a while.
Yeah, we've been on this for a while.
We're getting a little bit run down, running low on nitrous.
Yeah, I think it's already time for that nap. But no, man. But like I said, thank you for coming in, Troy. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Make sure y'all go and like and subscribe this channel.
Absolutely.
This video. Make sure y'all ring the bell. Kid Houston Podcast. This is Troy Dixon from Houston Performance. I'm trying to catch everything.
Information overload.
Yeah. Troy Dixon from Houston Performance Driving. Make sure you go and like the pages as well. And we'll catch y'all on the flip, guys.
Peace.
Cool. I appreciate it, like I said, man.
Yeah, that was great.